Okay, I believe we are live, George. So, welcome everyone. This is the first episode of the SHEDCAST, which is going to be a podcast on the channel. Hang on, I need to get Discord up. Give me a second, guys, or otherwise you're just going to see a grey screen. You're not going to see George. So,
they'll see a grey screen even if you do, because I've got my do not.
So, it's a new concept on the channel, and I'm going to start it off with me and George. And today we're going to be talking about everything gaming. I am a bit sick today, guys, so you can see my eyes are very watery and things like that. And you know, it's not the best camera angle, but hey, welcome to the SHEDCAST. I'm just going to get the phone open as well because I'm going to have to read chat over here, I think.
I can have your chat open as well. I've got my chat, I've got your chat open, it'll be fine as well. So
can everyone hear me all right? Hey, Jack, how you doing? Hey, Elves, Happy New Year. Hey, up, it's been a while. It has, bro, it's been a while. How you doing? How you doing, everyone? First, yes, let's get some likes on the podcast, guys, if you want more of these. So yeah, we're going to be talking about gaming, just everything gaming, really, gaming news. George is going to start us off with some gaming news, and we're also celebrating Happy New Year. I've got a Munster. George has got, you know, a Strongbow in a wine glass because they're very posh.
Yeah, hopefully.
I wish I'd made my face so big when my eyes are like watering like crazy, but you know, what can you do?
Hopefully, okay, we had a little bit of issue getting it started, but you know,
it's been a while. Happy New Year, Elves! No. Yeah, New Year tomorrow, guys. We're also going to be discussing that, like everything 2020, which obviously hasn't been the best year. Yeah. So I feel like we shouldn't talk about that. I feel like that's going to make the podcast like cursed or something, man.
Yeah. So I just realised you were muted the whole time.
Hey, Nick.
Haha. You're not muted.
Can everyone hear me? Your head just looks so weird in the corner of my screen, George. I just realised, man. You look so bright.
So cool. So,
hey, Shed Daddy. Come on, guys. Let's get some likes. Alright, guys. I'm not going to be able to read the chat as much just because it's on my phone, but I will catch up as much as possible. HP negative, but not sure.
Whereas I have your
2021,
but who knows if it's ever going to load.
I feel the same. I feel like 2021 isn't going to be, you know, an amazing year, but I think it's not going to be as bad as 2020. That's what I personally think.
Yeah, I mean, how much worse could it be? We've had the dreaded 2016 where everybody died. We've had 2021 where a lot of people have died.
You sure it was 2016, George?
Yeah, it was. It was 2016 where all the celebrities died. David Bowie, all of them were 2016. Carrie Fisher as well.
Yeah. I'm going to do a Java PvP tournament. Want to join? I can't join at the moment, Nick, because obviously I'm doing a podcast. You calling me silly, Alfie? Why am I silly, bro?
Man, silly.
But yeah, don't forget to like the stream, guys, because if you want more podcasts, we're going to be doing these maybe once every couple of weeks, if you like it.
Yeah.
Not tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow. I can't, unfortunately, Alfie, because I mean, Nick. I'm getting confused. Anyway, guys, let's start the podcast. Let's start talking about some gaming news. George, you can start us off.
Yeah, of course. So, as you all know, I'm doing my interview voice.
I'll just remind you guys as well, like, I do have a flu, so I've got, like, watery eyes. So just bear that in mind. I'm not drugged up.
So, we're going to start with what the PS4 Plus games are, because I figured... Yeah. Some of these are kind of weird.
I said this to you earlier, and I'm not happy about this.
Man-Eater and Greedfall are kind of sort of thrown out there. I didn't really expect them to be part of it, you know? They're not the kind of stuff we're used to.
Is one of them like a PS5 exclusive? Is Greedfall like built for the PS5 or?
No, Greedfall is 2019, so it wasn't built for PS5. They're thinking of porting it over, I think.
I think what they've done is they gave us one last good game, and that was, you know,
Tomb Raider.
But the problem is, I bought Tomb Raider like 3 weeks ago, and so I'm a bit annoyed because I paid like $12.50. I could have had it for nothing. I think these days with PS Plus games and the monthly games, you got to be careful when they're reducing price and they have a big sale, because then the next month they seem to be really cheap. Well, they just seem to get into the PS Plus.
Yeah, it's like their last ditch to get them couple of pennies off you, you know. So we're going to start with Man-Eater, which is a role-playing game where you play as a shark, which I think is quite a neat sort of thing. You know.
Someone says 3 hours and 21 minutes until 2021 for them.
How long is it for us? I've not got
like 5 hours.
Probably.
Okay, so what's Man Eater about then?
So you play as a shark. It's the storyline is sort of you play as a baby
Weird
shark.
Concept for a game.
Do, and then as you grow and you're like trying to get revenge on. I can't remember the guy's name because I didn't write it down. But so the backstory is
Shark.
you're a little baby shark baby and your mum gets killed by some shark hunter. That's it basically, and you just go around killing stuff.
Alfie said, "Ooh."
Yeah,
Alfie's like, I'm definitely gonna play that. I feel like it's your kind of game, George. Why do I feel like that?
Yes,
it's so obscure.
Not only that, but Greedfall. I think I'm gonna really enjoy Greedfall. So compared to Tomb Raider, I think I'm mostly gonna play Greed.
I'll be honest with you, George. I don't think we're gonna play any of them because we barely have any time as it is, and I spend most of my time playing Minecraft and most of my time playing COD, so or Apex.
Yeah, but you know me. I do love pirates, and it's sort of piratey kind of 17th century fantasy. It's an action RPG. So
Shadow Money's entered the chat.
Do you know like the Batman combat stuff? It's got a little bit of that combined with Dark Souls kind of fluidity of movement, which looks incredible. I've watched a couple of trailers. It looks like a lot of fun. And then it's got stealth and combat like Assassin's Creed. So it's sort of like an amalgamation of a lot of games, but it's got really nice world building around it as well, which I think is going to be really great. So I'm going to be playing that. But
yeah, George will be playing that over on Ravy Graves 12 Facebook page. What's going on in the chat? We got Shadow Money in here. We got Trayton in here. Alfie says murder. Alfie says murder. The reason we're not reading the chat as much is because I don't want to keep interrupting George, because obviously he's talking and I have to keep going, oh, Shadow Money's here, so I gotta.
You can completely interrupt me. It's not an issue. Like
stream for 3 hours. We'll see what happens. It's just basically going to be me and George just rambling, basically. That's the idea of our SHEDCAST. Hopefully in the future, guys, we're going to be doing this from a shed, because then it will be a SHEDCAST. But I don't know how the logistics of that, how that would work, because I would need Wi-Fi.
I mean, my shed is cold and rainy.
I need a warm shed. Yeah. What do you think of the layout, guys, of the SHEDCAST? What do you reckon?
Yeah, you put a lot more time into yours than I did. Mine's just you and me combined. Like, there's no title, there's nothing.
It looks better on yours because you got the green screen though, so it actually looks like you're sitting there next to me. Which mine just looks like a load of square boxes. So, guys, get some stuff in the chat. Anything gaming related? Have you guys played Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
We want anything in
chat.
Have
you guys played Greedfall? Well, they've not come out yet. Well, they have, but they're not on PS Plus.
Yeah,
have you guys played the Shark game?
Man Eater came out in 2020. Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out in 2018.
Because I've not played any of them. I've bought most of the Tomb Raiders and I've not even played them because I always get caught up in 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, those games are quite long for games that you want to like hop into and out of. It's like a long form game mode, right?
If you think about it, these days, everyone just plays like one battle royale and the odd story game here and there, but it's not very often that people will switch games. Back in the PS3 days, you would have everyone playing different games. You do get that today, but like obviously with one game being like 200 gig, you can only have like 3 games installed on your console at once anyway.
Yeah, it's the problem with having, because back in PS3 games, you didn't have to install the game. You could just play it as long as you had the updates on your console. You could just plug and play.
And the update would be like 10 gig, not 400.
Which is something we're missing from the new generation, because it's all digital downloads and huge updates. Back in the day, it would be a whole nother CD or a whole separate download. Like I know for Call of Duty Modern Warfare or whatever, like the update for that was tiny compared to all this other stuff.
I want to get on to later, Jordan. I want to talk about like the best games on PS3, and also
I've
Call
got,
of Duty.
I've got a couple of questions about that. I've got
Because I've started to
game
reinvest into old games, and one thing I've started to do is buy all the cards because my brother really got me into it again, and so we might be playing some of those on the channel. That's why I bring it up.
So I remember watching Rooster Teeth. They did from like the first COD all the way through to I think it was Modern Warfare. And all the ones that they were like.
The good thing is, George, if we do stream like World at War, say we could do a multiplayer campaign, which would be awesome.
Yeah, the multiplayer campaign for World at War was one of the best, I think. That's such a good campaign.
TV. Ask me how a PS3 player. We'll give us some suggestions, Nick. What's the best PS3 games? What made that generation? What is the PS4 like generation game? Like, what is the best game on PS4? I think you got GTA 5. I think Red Dead Redemption 2, which I'm not playing.
That was GTA 5 was just as the PS4 was announced, right?
But if you think about it, George, it stood the test of time. It's lasted the whole cycle of the generation. People still play that, and it's still one of people's favourite games. Although with GTA, that's always been the case. I feel like GTA 4 on the PS3, that also stood the test of time.
I saw a news article when I was looking for stuff to do for this. Did you know that Rockstar pays for bad reviews for GTA games?
Why?
I don't know. They actually pay for bad reviews.
For bad reviews? What's the point? That's like psycho, George. Have you got any more context on why they do that, George?
No, I don't, because I didn't write it down because it was not important.
Where did you get this source from?
I think it was from PC Gamer or one of it was for one of the facts. I've got a fact at the end, but you know, if anyone's got any Q&As, if you put them in chat, I'll write it down.
If you got anything, we can answer them. The best PS3 game is COD Modern Warfare 2. It's definitely up there, and I think it is one of the best CODs. In my opinion, it's BL2. In my opinion, BL2 is the best COD for me. But I've been going back recently, George. I played BL1 yesterday when I was testing out the capture software and stuff. By the way, guys, don't forget to like the streams. I'm just going to chuck that in there real quick because if you want more of these, we're going to need some likes. And yeah, anyway, I went back and played BL1, and it was really weird because every time I'd take a shot, it felt so different. And I think that's because it's a controller. It feels so different to modern games because it's you have to shoot before you know the enemy's coming because there's a big delay.
Yeah, there's a delay on the response.
So
and it feels smaller.
I was terrible at it. I was terrible. I hadn't played it in years, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so bad." They were getting 50 kills on me because obviously I'm used to PS4 where everything's so quick now.
That is the problem, Marco, or Marco. I don't know actually how you say your name, whatever. But
Marco.
All of the old PS3 games have hackers in them, and it's so hard to get into a game.
Yeah, that's the only issue with it. We played World at War as well. I've had this before on Modern Warfare 2 where they increased my prestige to top level, but what they did to us on World at War was they made me top prestige, but
and then got you banned to 0.
No,
right?
I was just top prestige, but then I couldn't unlock any guns. I didn't unlock any of the guns for me, so it says that I'm still level 0 and I can't lock any of my guns. But on the side it says a prestige master.
Account, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So they basically messed the whole thing up.
The only FIFA game I like is the one on Nintendo Wii because I had bobbleheads for characters in that multiplayer. It was so good.
Nintendo Wii?
Yeah, they released FIFA games on the Nintendo Wii and they're terrible.
I thought we were talking about COD then because my brother used to play COD on the Nintendo Wii and I was like, how do you do that, man? It's so
I never understood how that worked. I didn't think the Nintendo Wii had enough capacity to play
you're
a
sitting there with a Wii controller playing COD. It's so weird.
It's fucking
exactly. But I don't think it worked like that though. You just held it in your hands like that. But I just imagine
you played it like it was a controller, right?
I just imagine that. Yeah. What else we got, guys, for the PS3?
That is my PS Plus game, completed.
Yeah, even though we've
PS3
kind of gone off
games.
topic, but that's going to happen a lot. I was going to take. Why don't we take it back right to the first games we ever played? What was the first game you ever played?
I've got that as a question later on. Don't jump the gun yet.
The best game on PS4 is tied between Minecraft and Fortnite.
But those aren't.
Minecraft come from the PS3 though.
Right?
I think Minecraft spans 2 generations.
Maybe even 3 if you include early PC, right? From way back when.
2009. That's been around
And
for a long time.
not only that, but it was also a mobile game. It's a mobile game.
I don't know whether I would say Fortnite was the best game, but it definitely broke some records and changed gaming a lot. You know, it brought Battle Royale into the mainstream, which it already was with H1Z1 and stuff, but not as much. You know, and you had there was another Battle Royale, wasn't there, that was quite popular.
Armor, and not Armor.
No, it was Battlefield.
H1Z1.
Was it Battlefield or something? Battleground.
Battlefield was never a battle royale.
Battleground.
Battleground.
It was made by Battleground. What am I thinking of? Come on, chat.
PUBG.
That's it. So it was already there, but Fortnite escalated it because then it meant the younger audiences.
I think what we really mean is Minecraft Bed Wars, then battle royales.
You could consider that, but
Hunger Games. Minecraft Hunger Games was at the start.
It changed it for a while, but I think it was a trend because now it's died down a lot, and not many people are talking about Fortnite. It's not a big talking point anymore. Like
not so much in our circle of friends because we mainly play like Call of Duty. Fortnite has never been on my radar as a game to play. I know that when it first released, you really enjoyed it, right?
6 likes, man, nearly on 10 likes. I felt like I had to play it because a lot of my games, you know, I get persuaded by my brother or my nephew and things like that, and you know, my friends to play. But I was never very good at it. I don't think it was ever my game because the building I could never get into. Because obviously I'm used to old school COD.
It was such a stark change from previous battle royales by throwing in that building aspect. It really changed how that played as a battle royale.
Yeah,
like I remember PUBG being like a huge thing, and people played PUBG for hours and hours and hours on end. And then,
but that was mainly PC players,
and it just died. PUBG, they gave PUBG away for free.
It didn't die. Fortnite's had a slow death, and it could still make a comeback, but I feel like it has died down a lot in the last year. I think last year was it started to
peak.
Yeah,
when they did like the rocket launch stuff, like lots of people sat and watched that.
That's the problem. Like we want them to change their games, and they have done a lot for the community because in terms of gaming, we used to have an update, say for COD, like once every 6 months to a year. We get like 1-2 updates a year, and now we get updates every month. So it's changed.
Yeah, they've really pushed the boundary on season passes and stuff.
Yeah, how often you should bring new stuff to the games, because I feel like in the past games didn't really try as much to bring new things.
No, exactly. I know that Call of Duty was once, sometimes twice a year, really.
I mean, we had the map packs, but you know,
I feel like they were separate DLCs. They were completely thing. Hey, shit, daddy. They were like completely separate things, right?
Who's the gaming beaver? 2020.
I don't know, but I wish it was me. So, with the way that Fortnite, like, they pushed these... How long was it? Like 2 months? Month kind of rolling updates. And that's been like a huge...
What was the game that bought, like, battle passes? Was it Fortnite that brought that forward? Or was it another game?
I think it was...
Because before that, we had loot crates.
The one that popularized it. Yeah, it's always been loot crates. It's always been pay to win stuff.
That's what we really need. Is we need companies to stop like taking these routes when one thing becomes popular. They're just like, oh, now we're gonna do loot crates and now we're gonna do battle passes, because then it gets to this point where you're paying for battle passes on 10 different games. Like I have a battle pass on Apex. I have a battle pass on COD. I've got coins on Fortnite. Like. You know,
it's all the in-game currencies. I think they should come up with a system where all the currencies are usable in every game. I know that's never going to happen.
They should have a system where you can earn currency for free rather than having to pay. Because even Apex now has become pay to win, I think, in a sense.
Well, I mean, it's not pay to win. It's pay to look good. It's always cosmetics. It's never any like attachments or guns. Like
yeah, but you're telling me if you see a certain skin and it's a really good skin, you're not gonna like crap yourself and be like, oh god.
Oh no, yeah, but that's not pay to win. That is still just cosmetics. That is just a rare cosmetic, and the heirlooms are rare.
2 hours and 57 minutes for 2021 in South Africa.
Nice. The battle pass for Cold War brings in new weapons. So if you don't have the battle pass, you can't
Does
have
it?
these weapons.
I don't think it brings in new weapons, George. It's blueprints, but they do change the gun. It basically gives you like a more upgraded version of the gun at a lower level. I want to talk about COD actually because I've been playing Cold War and I've changed my opinion on it a bit. I'm still kind of addicted to the game, but I've realised the better you get at the game, the worse you do. It's really weird. It's a weird system because now I'm getting in higher ranked lobbies and I'm dying every 2 seconds. Yeah. So now the skill has gone from a jump from there to like all out there because now the game's impossible and I've just seen all these people sat in corners going and I'm just dead every 2 seconds.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help that we only seem to play that one map. We only play Nuketown. We only play Nuketown because that is the map we were brought up on.
That's why people still play the game. If that map wasn't in there, I wouldn't have bought the game.
No.
So I went back and played the original Nuketown on BL1. I can't tell you the graphics. They look completely different to how I remember them. It looks like a PC game from 2000.
See, the thing that I've done is I've done this thing where I because I still play like the Nintendo 64. My idea of graphics is completely different to how you think of it. I think I'm used to there being these huge polygons.
Well, I've told you I'm going back to PS1 and PS2, and I feel like with the graphics, it's going to test my patience because I'm going to be like, oh god.
And not just that, even with the I know that we both played Spyro, right? And when they remastered that, they've changed how it plays, which is a good thing. But there are certain spots where you get stuck. I remember you had that trouble with the Cloud Spires. Yeah. These sort of games were not intended for high graphics because having smooth ground, you've got to have smooth boundary boxes.
The thing is, I feel like they don't test them enough when they remaster them. Because if they tested things like that, then it wouldn't happen. Like just putting a simple bit of code in.
You've got to imagine how many different levels there are. Say in one game of Spyro, there's 5 in each homeworld, which is 6 in total. 6 times however many there is. You know, that's a lot of paying people to test it. Which is, I think, they've got this idea of. I've just been shot. They've got this idea of. Yeah, they're right next door as well. It's really nice. Of saving money wherever they can, which isn't a bad thing. But when you're producing a game and you want it to be a top class game and you want it to be top of the shelf, well,
what they need to do is they need to hire passionate people to make them, because then if they're passionate about them, they will play the crap out of them and they'll find any of these bugs early, or just fix the bugs. Just realise that the bugs in the game, fix them, update them.
I think that there's been a real negativity about bugs recently. I know that with Cyberpunk, we're gonna come on to Cyberpunk later. I've got some news about that.
You know what I wish they would do? Remaster the original Spider-Man games.
Dude, you know that wouldn't be as good as you think it would be.
They won't, but
and then you just drop it into the ground.
How I remember them, they were awesome games. Although I feel like a lot of those tropes have been took forward into the new Spider-Man anyway, so...
Yeah, so it's less of it's more of a reimagining than a remake.
But like Spider-Man 2 on the original, that was awesome. That was my game. I remember playing that. Chat's gone a bit dead. Anyone got any questions, guys? Make sure you get them.
Yeah, you leave some chats. Some
recent bugs.
Q&As and chats. We're going to talk about recent bugs in a little bit. Pretty much in the news, I've got...
Spiders, worms. What kind of bugs, George?
Bumblebees. No.
Killer bees. That was a thing in 2020, wasn't it? No, giant bees, not killer bees.
Killer bees. Killer Asian wasps.
Making a doctor there.
I remember Bethesda being famed for their bugs, but they knew about it and they'd work to fix them sometimes, but they're still game-breaking ones. What Project Red have done has been terrible. They pushed it out way too early. This is Cyberpunk I'm talking about, by the way.
I've seen some clips of that. It looks terrible, doesn't it? It looks like a PS2 game.
It doesn't play. It really doesn't play.
The funny thing is, that game was supposed to come out over a year ago, I think. It's supposed to come out ages ago. And they pushed it back and pushed it back and pushed it back, and it still wasn't ready.
Pushing it back.
It still wasn't ready, and they still didn't finish the game, and they just thought, oh, let's release it onto the store. So I'm kind of glad that PlayStation has refunded everyone, because people deserve that.
Did you know that they only sent out test gameplay demos on PC? because they knew consoles could not handle it. That is such a scummy
Don't
move
put it on
from a
console
game
then. Just
development company.
push the consoles further back
Later on,
and have it on
well,
PC.
that's what normal games do, right? I know that Ark didn't exist on consoles for an entire 2 years after the original release. Like,
Still,
that's how you're
Ark was
supposed to do
definitely
it,
not
like-
a perfect game.
No, Ark is a terribly
And
buggy
I don't
game.
know why they made Ark 2. That's the stupidest. That trailer. Oh my god. With
Do you know
Vin
what I think
Diesel.
it is? I think it's because with the new updated hardware, it should be able to run Ark precisely like the PC, and it'll be too much effort to port the game again or remake it specifically for.
Yeah, but don't call it Ark 2 and don't put Vin
Oh, no,
Diesel
it's
in
a
the
horrible
movie
name,
trailer.
right?
Because I thought, what is
think
this?
they've definitely got to
I've seen
work
it
on
on
a
one
better
media
name.
on YouTube. I was like, is this a new Vin Diesel movie? I'm like, Ark 2. I thought it was a movie and I almost avoided clicking on it. I clicked on it and I
thought
was
it
like,
a video game movie as well.
I was
I
like,
thought
oh
it
my
was a
god,
remake
it's an
of
actual
Sonic.
game. And I sent it to you and you was like, oh, new movie, Vin Diesel. I said, no, George, it's Ark 2, Ark Survival 2.
Why
You're
would
like,
they do a
what?
cinematic like that with nothing to do about Ark in the
I
bloody
just
thing?
put
It
Vin
was-
Diesel in everything. Doesn't work.
He's not even a brilliant actor. We should come on to this. Vin Diesel is a terrible actor.
I'm not going to say that,
No.
George, because I don't mind Vin Diesel films. But
No,
I don't think you should
mind
just
him either.
copy and
I
paste
love
him
him
in
as a-
everything. It's
I
all-
love him as a terrible actor.
It's all about
But
family.
It's all about family. It's all about family. Right, I'm gonna bring on some news now.
That's
okay? We're
what,
rolling
you know,
on
like
to the
Fast
news.
and Furious, like, how do they get from being, like, a small town
Bank
car
robbers.
franchise to go into space and then sort of work in family as one of the main plot lines, as one of the main feeds into the show? It just makes
I
no sense,
don't
but it's freaking
understand.
genius. It's genius, George. Works so well.
Yeah, because they wanted to put it to family audience.
Welcome back, Max.
Oh, yeah,
What's your favourite Fast and Furious films? Got nothing to do with gaming, but we'll discuss it.
yeah. Okay. We're gonna do this before we go on to the next one. Tokyo Drift. It is by far the
Everyone
best
loves Tokyo
Fast and
Drift.
Furious.
And I'm really excited for him bringing Ham back, but they can't just keep killing people off and bringing them back. I'm going to say Fast and Furious. It's a tough one. I've not really thought about this, have I? Fast and Furious 6, I'm going to say. I think that was a good, solid film. Between
it was
6 and
decent.
7, but I think 6...
I mean, 8 was pushing it. I mean,
Seven's
they've done
good
too
because it
many.
literally makes everyone cry, doesn't it? Because of the Paul Walker tribute. But like 6 was also a very good film with the planes and stuff. I'm definitely going to say 6. If anyone else got anything like that in the chat, drop it in there. It's a bit off topic. Same as Shed. Max is saying same as me, so I guess number 6 wins. But Tokyo Drift also
somehow
is a
we
solid
managed to
film.
overrun.
Iconic.
I had this down as a 10-minute thing, and the news is supposed to be half an hour. I mean, we're basically.
Are we past half an hour
we'll
already?
do a little bit of news. Yeah, we're in half an hour.
Wow. That's good though, George, because
Here's the
we're
news.
rambling, you know what I mean? That's what we want.
Yeah.
I just realised that my screen, let me just talk about this before you get onto it, George, just to delay it a bit more. My screen looks like a crappy 2005 freaking web advert.
PowerPoint presentation.
Like a crappy advertisement, man, on PC. Like one of them,
You have a
like
question,
ones that,
Ian? Ask it.
like one of
I'll
those
write it in the Q&A, we'll answer
bug
it later.
ones, George. When they try and hack your computer.
Sexy
Hey, you're
singles in your
amazing.
area, that kind of stuff.
Welcome everyone. Don't forget to like the stream. This is SHEDCAST with me and George talking random rubbish. If you want to watch from the start, you can. But you know, it's just
Great,
random
ask us
rubbish.
your
to be honest.
question, and I'll write it down in the Q&As and we'll answer it later. My God.
Any questions, guys? Ask us. Let's try and get to 10 likes. Hey, Lalo. I don't think I can
Okay.
stream. Your finger's screwed. I hope it gets better,
What was it?
better soon, Max. Didn't you say like you hurt yourself the other day as well? It's just, you just hurt yourself every single day.
Are you being bullied? Is that what we're getting to?
It's,
Here?
I hope not.
I hope not too. How can I get bigger on YouTube? Right, I'll write it down. We'll answer it later. We'll think of some suggestions.
I can already answer this.
Yeah, we don't because it's for the Q&A section later.
George not letting me answer
We've
any
got to leave
questions
the
now,
audience
but
on, alright?
I'm delaying him too much. We've been speaking for half an hour and we've not got through any of the topics. Do you prefer
No.
PlayStation or
Maybe we should
Xbox?
do
And
this.
what are your opinions on the PS5? PS5, I think it looks amazing and I'd love to play it, but I've not had the chance because of all these people buying the consoles
Scalpers,
online.
right?
Yeah, scalping them. They just use bots. You can't get the console anywhere and they're selling for high prices. So I think they should have released more consoles on launch, but I know why they've done it because they always do this. They release a select amount,
They always do.
and then they get sold out, and then everyone wants consoles, so then it increases the profit, and then everything becomes cheaper when they eventually do.
It does look like a Wi-Fi router.
When they eventually do produce more consoles, because materials become cheaper. You cut your finger with scissors. Oh God.
Should we have a chat about cutting each other? Because I slapped a craft knife out of somebody's hands, and I have got a scar on my finger where they glued it shut at the NHS. Praise the NHS. Okay.
All right, try it. We will answer your question later, but we got to get on to some questions now because you're just prepared.
Marco loves the Xbox.
Marco Polo. It's Max, George.
Listen, all right, I'm blind.
The Wi-Fi router.
I'm feasibly.
We'll get onto that in a minute, guys. What I think of the consoles, because we are going to talk about it. As you can see, I've got a PS5 right there. So yeah, we will be discussing it. We not put the Xbox on here because we don't like Xboxes.
We don't like Xbox. We don't stand the Xbox.
No.
Since
I've been like 5.
I'll tell you why I don't like Xbox.
All right, George, carry on. Let's answer George's questions now because he's going to get
news.
You know, he's going to murder us.
It's news time, baby. So,
have you got a mic, George?
Huh?
You got a mic?
I
Can
do.
you just be like, and this is the news with Ravy Grace.
This is the news with me. This isn't plugged in. It's fine. Okay. So, the creator of Nier Automatum.
Can you hold the mic properly, George? I don't just do this with a mic on.
It's not plugged in.
Yeah, but at least look like you're doing the
plugged
news,
in.
George. Just act a bit rigid, so you're just like there with that.
Nier Automatum, or Automata, I don't really know how you pronounce it. The creators of that are working on 2 brand new games, which is huge because they've not released a game in about, I think maybe 3 or 4 years.
Automatum.
Yeah, so it's. I remember it being an indie game, but it obviously isn't because they're like huge creators. Why am I still holding this in my mind? They're huge creators. They worked for the company that made Bayonetta, I think, which is a really big game in Japan. Mm-hmm. So that's right. They've not put any information out about it. I think they only really tweeted about it or talked about it in the stream.
This could be a second, George. Carry on talking about what you're talking about.
So while they're working on that together, it's a 2-people job as the creative. What the hell? As a creative director. So, I mean, now
as we talk about the news, I just need to look a bit more serious. But don't let me disturb you. Just carry on.
I don't know what you're doing. I'm scared. Are you putting you're putting something on, aren't you?
Putting something on.
I have. What?
I just want to slip into something more comfortable, George. Everyone just start watching this and just instantly click off the video.
So what is this? Like what? What's up, Peyton? What are you confused about?
He doesn't know how the SHEDCAST works.
It's fine. So, as well as not only that, but in another round of games development, Game Freak, who are the main developers behind all of the Pokemon games. What the hell?
Oh, carry on, George.
They've put out a couple of tweets which are supposed to. This is by internet hearsay, so it might not. But they're talking about perhaps Pokemon Diamond and Pearl being remade on Nintendo Switch. Which is great because I really enjoyed those games when they first came out. I never played them. They had some really interesting things which Pokemon had never done before. They added like mining and gem hunting and stuff, which never arrived in another Pokemon game apart from that one. It was like a one-off throw-in, like
Rocky TV in the chat, George.
Hey, Rocky. So you'd do these minings for like all these evolutionary stones and stuff, and that was all I'd do in that game. Is just mine and mine and mine and mine.
So basically, the first iteration of Minecraft.
Yeah, pretty much. While we're on the topic of Pokemon, did you hear the news?
No.
Good sir. That
Pokemon Go 2.
American kid sold $80,000 worth of Pokemon cards.
Right, for college.
To pay their way through medical college.
If he lived in the UK, he would not have to do that because he would just get a student loan. And by the way, I got a tingly face now because that's actually, it hurts when you rip that stuff off. You have a straight
I mean,
stash.
imagine collecting these cards for ages, only to sell them off to become a medic.
I mean, over
Or
the
a
last
medic.
year, I've probably spent like 500 to £1,000 on Pokemon cards, and I've probably got like £100 worth of cards. To be honest, no, it's about £300 worth of cards. But you know, you think you're gonna get all these big Charizards and stuff. You're not gonna get them. It's very, very rare to get that lucky with those.
It's so rare. Yeah. So this guy sold his collection from first editions to whenever.
You look like George of Moustache. A little bit. Let's put it back on. I should trim it so it looks like George's. I did have a moustache, but I shaved it, so I have to get a fake one now.
You can't tell how long it is, but it's
It
long
looks
enough
like
to
I've
go
not
baby.
been through puberty, so now I can sympathise with the whole of my chat. My boy. Have we got
We're
10
gonna do a
likes,
little-
guys?
We've got one.
Have we got 10 likes yet, George? Yes,
no.
we hit 10 likes, boys.
Nice. So we're gonna do one.
I was going to
section.
talk about the Pokemon games, George, what you just mentioned. I was going to add to it. I wish
go
that
ahead.
they'd release it on PlayStation, but it's never going to happen because it's obviously owned by Nintendo and they're their rivals.
Nintendo.
A little fact about PlayStation,
one
guys.
there.
Did you know?
Here we go.
Did you
I was
know?
gonna do this one as well.
Did you know that the PlayStation was intended to be a collaboration between Nintendo and PlayStation? But what was it the Nintendo said to them? They said like they didn't want to pay them enough or something, or they didn't like the system, so they used something else. Yeah, they used a different system, didn't they?
Yeah, they went for
Different software.
They didn't have a CD drive or something. They were using.
So what they did was PlayStation went and says, all right then. Sony went and said, we're going to create our own console and we're going to rival Nintendo. And now it's the best-selling console.
Yeah.
Like, PlayStation, the best-selling brand of console of all time.
Yeah,
So-
I'm glad I didn't write that as a fact. I was gonna. I didn't.
I've stuck it to the mic now, look.
So let's do one article of YouTube news, which I saw.
Do you know the PlayStation Nintendo sells for 500 grand, George? Like, it sells for a massive amount of money.
Yeah, because they only made like 100
probably
or
like a
200.
couple.
It was so few.
Well, if you got one of them in your loft, guys, or your mum or dad's got one, then scalp it and put it on eat. Nah, don't do that. Hey, you
Don't do that. Save it for a couple more years, then do it.
go treat your stash really quick. Carry on, George.
YouTube news. I've got one bit of YouTube news. There was many I could choose from, but this one I thought was the best. Do you know the BTS, the K-pop fan group?
Mm-hmm.
I think BTS might be K-pop, it might be J-pop. I don't know.
It is.
But they are not happy
Why?
because. Should I tell you? I'll tell you.
I'm not really a BTS fan.
Oh no, me
Happy
neither,
New Year,
but
Yusuf.
I really enjoyed this story because they are angry about the most handsome face awards going not to any of BTS, not to anyone else really remotely in your mind as a handsome face. They went to PewDiePie.
Yeah,
They went to PewDiePie.
she's great. Well, as if
Which
he
is-
doesn't, as if he needs any more like awards.
I mean, yeah, but this man is a notable racist, so I don't know how he got any of these awards. He should have been dead and gone a long time ago.
I
you
don't
know,
know.
but let's
I
not get
think
onto
some
that
of
here.
some of his YouTube mistakes in the past, I think he's owned up to, and that's what people used to say on the internet, and it shouldn't have been said.
Yeah.
But I think he's
I mean,
apologised for it.
times
many
have changed.
and-
You can't make jokes.
Well, I think-
like he's done.
Well, I wouldn't say he's like racist, but he did do some stupid things. But we
Yeah,
won't get
well,
onto that. But did you
won't
hear
get-
about
that is not part of it.
Did you hear about Logan Paul getting sued over the Forest video after all these years because he was making a movie
Yeah.
with someone
Yeah.
and they put like $3 million into the movie, and because they say he released the Forest video on purpose to sink the movie, basically they want to sue him for $3 million.
While we're on the talk of suing, because this leads very nicely onto the next thing, which is almost like we scripted it, but we didn't because we're
Well,
not
I got
that
another bit of YouTube
organised.
news, George, before you begin.
Okay,
you know,
let's go
you know
through the
Leafy
YouTube
is here. He's come back to YouTube, hasn't he? And he's banned off YouTube. They said he can't make any accounts, but he did what Keemstar done, yeah. and he created an account with a company, but he was the host of the channel, so he didn't own the channel, which is totally in YouTube's terms of service, and they're still banned the account. And they sent him an email saying you can't use any YouTube services or products.
Yes, because I think they've changed the terms of service, not recently, but quite a while ago, about how if you're banned on YouTube, you can't be
Well, that
on the
means they
platform.
should take Keemstar down, shouldn't they, really?
And I think, well, I mean, how much does he bring in is the issue. Like, YouTube's very targeted.
Yeah, but how much did Leafy bring in? Back in the day, he was a very big YouTuber. I never watched him, but apparently he was a very big YouTuber. So...
I don't know. What goes on in the
I think he did used to bully people though, but so did Keemstar at the end of the day. So I don't know, but I'm just saying it's kind of interesting because YouTube does have a very weird way of like skirting around the rules sometimes, you know.
Yeah, and it's always for those who bring in the most money for them, and it's. I mean, I understand why, but it's a horrible feeling of like, oh, you're obviously not as important as these people. But let's not get onto that. For I have better news.
I feel like my channel always gets shadow banned because if you notice there are 600 people with notifications turned on. Let me know if you got a notification for this video, guys. 600 people have notifications turned on my channel, and I probably get less than 10% of that comes to the channel. So
it was the same with Twitch. Like YouTube sub boxes have never worked. Since they went to Amazon from whoever made them originally.
It's still a better system though because when I use Twitch, I can never find any new creators on there. Like, I have to search for them, and they only like promote a select few, which I'm not into. Oh, you going, by the way? Your shoulders mostly healed. I'm glad that your shoulders mostly healed, Max, and have a happy new year, and we'll see you later. The reason we're not reading the chat as much, guys, because we don't want this to just be us chatting, but we will be doing a Q&A later. But yeah, I think YouTube's definitely better than Twitch, but I feel like
absolutely, I completely agree. Like, Twitch. As a
it's
company,
not funny when you say that. It makes me laugh because you were so for Twitch like a year ago. You telling me to get on Twitch and that, and I did, and I'm still on there.
I absolutely used to be a Twitch fanboy, and then after a year of streaming on it and getting absolutely
in the beginning though,
a year and a half.
In the beginning, they used to support you a lot though, because you went from like nothing to 250.
Yeah, because and do you know what they've recently introduced?
What?
This is going very off topic, but we're still on.
Well, I mean, topics in this video have kind of been shuffled around, but that's all right because that's what we want this podcast to be. It's a ramble. It's when me and George just talk rubbish, basically.
So what they've recently introduced is pay to win. So you can pay to be a Twitch affiliate now.
But what's the point? Because everyone wants to be a Twitch affiliate to make money. So you're paying for it.
Twitch affiliate is nothing. You do know that, right? I didn't realize this.
I'm the affiliate, aren't I? It's partner. You want to be
nothing. You want to be partner, but you cut that's hard and arduous, and you basically earn nothing back until you get to that. Being an affiliate, you get pennies. It's not worth it. Work on another platform than Twitch unless they improve.
Yeah, because actually, I've just got monetized on YouTube, and some of my videos will make 10, 15p, whatever. But on Twitch, you probably make that. You probably make 1p a video. You won't make hardly anything. So
I was streaming for hours and hours. They recently reintroduced mid-roll adverts because no one's running adverts because it's not worth it. They are forcing you to run adverts on Twitch because they need the ad revenue to stay afloat. Amazon are going to cut Twitch off at some point, and it's just going to go down the drain, and there'll be no more.
And it's just going to be YouTube then.
Be YouTube or Facebook. Or all of the other random Chinese, Japanese ones that I have no idea.
They might come along eventually. I mean, TikTok does their own live stream feature, but it's not really for gaming. You can do gaming on it, but you have to sort of have a workaround. It's not, gaming centered.
It's not specifically featured. Like Twitch was all about gaming to begin with, but it's not anymore.
We got a comment here, George. Loved your content since the day I saw your stream and that I found out about your channel. Thanks for all the content, Shedwards, and a happy new year to everyone that is here. Subscribe to Shedwards and watch the stream. Thanks, Max. Have a happy new year, man. I hope you get better. I hope your finger's better. I love hearing comments like that. Guys, also don't forget to follow George because he's just started his Facebook channel, Ravy 12. If you have Facebook.
Okay, let's do a little bit of moving on. We're going to talk about since we're talking about lawsuits recently, or previously, we're going to talk about one that's gone against Project Red, which did Cyberpunk. They have received a lawsuit because...
You just love talking about the controversy with that game, don't you? You just so
I
invested
really
in it.
do. I do. It's really interesting. It's amazing how they got away with the game that they put out. But they sold like 1 million copies.
It looks so good though, and Keanu Reeves was in the trailer and everything. Like, how much did they pay to get Keanu Reeves on there? They just put all their money into getting
Keanu Reeves
Keanu.
was a huge part of the... He really wanted the game to be good. And imagine then them sending out...
Imagine though, like, Keanu Reeves
game.
hasn't done... His career's like squeaky clean, and now to be part of that game, which is just an embarrassment to him, really. But it still looks... Saying that though, he does look like really good in the trailer though. And
Oh yeah,
like a badass, so I don't know.
So let me read you this quote, which I've written down. Cyberpunk producers, Project Red, are vigorously, in air quotes, defending itself in a class action lawsuit. An investor, one of the many I presume, has claimed that Project Red has misled investors about the quality of Cyberpunk 2077, or whatever it's called. So...
It's ruining the podcast, man. Sorry, guys.
So
this is why we need to do it in the shed, but we got to get that all set up. So if you want to fund the podcast, then leave a donation so I can buy a new shed.
So Mr. Investor, as I'm going to call him, has claimed
a lot of Mr. Investors.
Project Red intentionally were hiding problems to defraud the investors.
Well, it's like you said, if they only released like the demo version on PC.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine having to...
You hear that, George?
To vigorously... I did. Having to vigorously defend a game that you've put out.
Can I just say this, guys? No one's died. That's my brother playing COD. He's a bit crazy. So I'll just put that out there. Carry on, George.
Imagine having to defend a game that... you put all this effort in. I feel sorry for the developers because it was just the people, like the upper management have been like, oh yeah, this game is ready. Like, you have to imagine.
They do it too often. They always force games out. I'm getting kind of sick of it now because like games are expensive these days. Think of how much they've got like inflated since the last 10 years. You used to buy a brand new game for £35.
It's
like
kind
£60
of, because of
now.
inflation, it's sort of around the same
But
price.
like, that's a lot of money to shed out on a game that doesn't work. You know what I mean? That is a lot.
Yeah, imagine like you create this game, you push it back a couple of times because you're like, oh yeah, this game isn't ready, and then as soon as the PS5 gets announced, like, oh yeah, we have to release this now, which is essentially what they did.
I think they had a lot of pressure on them for the money, probably because investors want paying back at a certain period. That's what it is.
But they should have just released a PC game, as we said earlier, because PCs can run so much better than PS4.
Because they're basically, what they've done is they've dented any, good image that game puts out. Because now that people know it's trash on PS4, it gives that game a certain identity that everyone thinks the game's buggy and
it's
doesn't.
Like,
so
what was the space game?
It's just going to keep yellow training. You mean Infinite Warfare? No, that's
no.
Not,
it was
No Man's Sky.
It's not something. No Man's Sky, exactly.
Yeah, I think they fixed that now, but now because it's got that image, no one will touch it. So
it's supposed to be really good though, which is
it is now. It's fixed, but
yeah,
now it's got that image. You won't go near it.
They were like, "Oh, yeah, this is a multiplayer game," and it wasn't a multiplayer game.
To be honest,
how the hell they got away with that?
I think they should have pushed back Ark Survival as well on the PlayStation. I think Rust I was going to bring to it, but they haven't bought that PlayStation.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
I think that's the right decision. If you can't program it right for the console, then don't do it, because you're just going to kill your game that you've already got that works. On
like a couple of bugs is fine, but when the graphics look like a PS2 game, when it's supposed to be running on flipping 1080 or whatever, it's why even bother? Like, they sent back half. I think I'm making this number up, but I'm imagining, like, imagine purchasing the game and it being.
Imagine how many people bought the game.
I'll get my refund, and they got their refund, and Sony then pushed the refunds because Sony's like, oh yeah, this game is atrocious.
Yeah.
It doesn't even exist on PS4 anymore, right?
Well, I think they took it off the store completely, yeah, and they've just gave everyone a refund. Think of how much
They
money
took
they
off
had to
the
refund
store.
everyone.
They've took off the store, but you can still have the game on
Do you
PlayStation.
have a PS5? I don't have a PS5 because I haven't been able to get one because I've been buying them all up. But yeah, they've refunded everyone, which I think. Well, it's not actually them. It's
everyone.
PlayStation.
They've refunded everyone that wanted a refund.
It's
You can
very
still play the
rare.
game.
It's very rare that PlayStation does that. Very, very rare because a lot of games have had issues like that and they haven't got refunds.
Yeah,
It's
but they've
very
not
rare.
been game-breaking bugs like that. Like that game looks like a PS2 game. It looks like Spider-Man 2. It's got that kind of graphics about it. Like the PC games, that's fine. Like that looks okay. That looks bearable to play. But pushing it on a console that's gonna kill your console, which I think was one of the issues it was having. It was like melting consoles. Not actually, but it was like heating them up, overheating them because it's trying to run at a clock speed that it can't handle. Anyway, enough about.
Before we move on, George, I've got something for you before we do some more news. So, I've got a gaming quiz for you. I don't know what's going to be in this gaming, but I see a bit of Fortnite, so I'll just.
So I prepared zero.
Now. It's by Beano, when I've done mine before. We got 50 questions, so we couldn't be here for a long time. 1 out of 50. Alright.
Okay, so.
Would you like me to send you the link? Oh, no, I can't do that because it'll give you the answers. Are you a gaming expert? Would you say you're a gaming expert, George?
I hope so.
You hope so.
I hope so, yeah.
Right. Okay. Would you be a professor of gaming trivia if there was such a thing? Take the quiz and find out. What is the name of this Fortnite character skin? You see my screen?
Which one? The fish?
Yep.
Oh, man. Is there like a nice selection of A,
And
B,
chat, I don't want you ruining anything for it, George. You're best to just close the YouTube chat because I know that they're all going to know these answers.
Yeah,
I don't even know what this is called myself. So
I saw the. I know it's called like Fishy on something, right? Fishy on Me.
that was a song.
Oh, okay. What are the A, B, or C's? I can't quite see them very well.
We got Scalies, Finn, Fish Stick, or Nemo. Do you want some fish sticks?
I'm gonna go with the second one.
Finn.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, someone in chat's put something different, but you've gone for Finn.
I don't have.
Someone in chat put fish stick. Right, we're going to FIFA 20 question. Which Real Madrid star is on the cover of FIFA 20? This is going to be an interesting quiz.
Me, we don't play sports games.
I thought it'd be funny. I didn't even know what was in this quiz. We got 50 questions.
Real Madrid. What are the choices?
Gareth Bale, Eden Hazard, James Rodriguez, or Sergio Ramos. Trent says he doesn't know.
I'm going to guess Ramos because I think the rest are all mainly
we don't find out until later. What colour is the blue ghost in Pac-Man? What do you mean, what colour is the blue ghost?
What was the name, I guess?
Blinky,
So I know
Inky, Pinky, and Clyde.
It might be Clyde.
You think Clyde? Okay.
Yeah, because I know that one of them's got really out their name.
Oh, I used to love this game, Crossy Road, man. You remember when that was the thing? Oh my god, I played the crap out of this. I spent so much time on these games. I was really good at that as well. What was the name of the theme song in Crossy Road? Was it Crossroads? Was it Old Town Road? Was it Road to Nowhere? Or was it There's No Music in the Game?
It's either no music or the first one. It's probably Crossroads.
Alright, which one are you going to go with?
Crossroads. Because Road to Nowhere is.
I love that this is what I'm adding to the podcast. I love how George went and got all these questions and prepared all this stuff. And I just bring a 50-question quiz.
Yeah.
We'll be more prepared next time. I'm hoping in the next episodes we can get some guests on here. And me and George co-host the podcast. Maybe we could get Rocky TV on and see. We can ask him questions about his life and stuff. Because obviously we're British, so he's going to have a very different upbringing to us. What do you think, George?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we can
I think that'd be a good idea. Yeah, maybe we could get him on. Sure, man, sure.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
All right. What language? I love how I just announced this like all in the middle of the podcast. There's no freaking coordination. This podcast at all. It's Finnish, Simlish, Flemish, or Dutch.
Simlish.
That's so weird. I need to start.
I knew that one before. That's a well-known.
Ah, look at this, George. By October 11th, 2018, how many people have visited work at pizza place? I think this is a freaking Roblox question.
God damn
Look
it.
at this guy, man.
Dude,
The
we've
guy's
not played
so funny.
Roblox ever. I think I played it once when I was like 2.
I've only played like 1 out of 5 of these games.
I'll
So
go for the third one down. I don't know what it says.
500,000, 1 million, 5 million, or 1 billion. If it's 1
5
billion,
million.
it's going to be very interesting. 5 million, okay.
5 mil.
There's a basketball version of Rocket League called Hoop Mania. True or false?
False.
Try to say 1 mil. False. It's called Hoops, or that has got to be absolutely true. Why would you word it like that? That's got to be absolutely true. Right. When was the first Animal Crossing game released?
Not their first language.
This is a question for you, George. I think you can get this. Yeah, Trent says 4. When was the first Animal Crossing game released? 1984, 2001, 2008, or 2019?
I'm going to guess 2001 because 84 sounds too early.
I feel like it would have been on the Nintendo DS.
It was on the GameCube, I think.
2001, okay. What happens if you bump into a fellow player on Aqua Park IO? What are these questions, man?
You probably get pinged off somewhere. I don't know. Do you deflate? What's the answer? What's the choices?
So, if you bump into a fellow player on Aqua Park IO, do they A, slow down, B, accelerate, C, disappear, or D, they split into 2 characters?
It won't be split into 2 because that seems too OP for a game like this. Maybe they speed up and you slow down.
Accelerate, okay. Yep, Triton said accelerate. Oliver Triton's joined in. If there's anyone else in the chat watching, you can join in, if you want to answer these.
Yeah, feel free to join into these.
That's the fun. That's, I like this kind of thing because I'm asking George, and it's kind of a fun little thing we can do during the podcast.
This is a nice way to waste time.
Yeah, because sometimes podcasts are a bit like, just sit and talk. We're actually doing activities as well. What's the biggest selling video game of all time? I know this, but it might have changed. Biggest selling video game of all time. It's either Mario Kart, Wii, Tetris, Minecraft, or Sensible Soccer.
I'm assuming it's Tetris because that's been around the longest.
See,
I can tell you what the worst selling video game is, and that is E.T. on the Atari.
yeah, but if you have that now, it's worth a fortune, because they buried them.
Yeah,
all.
because they binned a bunch. They just dug a pit and
And
buried a bunch.
they found them,
couldn't
though,
sell
didn't they? They found them in the pit, but then they're worth a fortune because they're the only copies around.
Mhm.
So I know the answer to this question is Tetris, but I feel like it might have changed to Minecraft because that was a couple of years ago now, and Minecraft just keeps continuously being released on other consoles. So if it hasn't took over, it will. It's very close to taking over. Once Minecraft's released on the PS5 and the Xbox, the new Xbox, that's going to become the biggest selling game of all time.
Actually, we don't even know what it's called. The new Xbox.
Trying to call it Terrier. Nintendo Entertainment System question. This is one for you, George. You're gonna have to get this. When was the first Nintendo console released? 1963. That's way too long ago, man. That's probably Atari.
That's way too early, yeah.
1980, 1983, or 2001.
83 or whatever the other 81, but I'll go with 83 as my first answer.
Try and say 83. I feel like all good things come in threes.
2003. I've got a bunch of released on this day question answers for a little bit as well.
That's good then.
Like games.
What was Sonic the Hedgehog's? What was Sonic the Hedgehog's originally called? Tiggy Winkle. Punk Rat. Oh, dude, you got to change your YouTube to Pug Rat, man. Or Punk Rat. Or change your Facebook to Punk Rat Gaming. Mr. Needle Mouse or Lionel Bolt.
Mr. Needle Mouse. I think that is the direct Japanese translation of.
Try it and saying and Lionel Bolt. I think I remember. I watched a program on Netflix about Sonic, but I can't remember the name. What it was originally called. But I feel like they would go with Needle Mouse because
that sounds like a direct translation.
When he was first drawn, his head did look like needles. Did you see the Sonic film and the original one?
Oh, it's hideous, right?
Oh, the original version, the original trailer. I'm so glad they changed that.
Yeah, same. It looks more human, doesn't it?
What is the biggest selling game for Xbox One? Alright. Halo 5 Guardians, Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, or Destiny 2?
It's either Destiny or it's Halo. I think probably Halo. Halo is like their
I'd
biggest.
say GTA 5 is definitely up there.
Yeah, but I think Halo is like their main.
Try and
intellectual
say
property,
GTA
right?
5. Yeah. Halo's a good selling game. I think Infinite Warfare did sell a lot of copies, but that's mainly because people hate the idea of the game. It's weird, like when a game's really bad, people tend to buy it just to see.
Yeah, I kind of think that's why Rockstar maybe sell or put out bad reviews.
It's the most disliked, one of the most disliked game videos on YouTube is the Infinite Warfare trailer. It's hard to believe that was that many years ago now. In Game Boy Advance version of Super Mario World, who can jump higher, Mario or Luigi?
I'm gonna guess Luigi because otherwise, what's the point of the question? You know what I mean? It feels like one of those. If it wasn't Mario, why would it be a question?
I feel like you shouldn't be thinking about the question. Well, you should, but you shouldn't be thinking about the logistics of it, George. You should be thinking about
Luigi
if
is
you've ever
taller
played the game.
and he has longer legs. Probably jumps higher and he's less fat.
Okay. What was the original name of Roblox? Was it Robotic Blockage, Dynablocks, Robot Blocks, or Brickmania?
Robot blocks? Because that sounds like.
I feel like it would be
translate
Brickmania. I don't know why.
better.
But you pick Robot Blocks. Forza Horizon is a spin-off from which other video game? Oh, this is quite easy. Assetto Corsa, Forza Motorsport, Project Cars, or Split Second. Easy, this one.
Yeah, it's probably the Forza one. Because
Yeah,
Split
exactly.
Second is
It's
nothing like.
now. Who blasts ink at you in Mario Kart? Booper, Blooper, Scooper, or Mysterious Ghostman?
I like the name Mysterious Ghost
I
Man.
love how they've come up with these, man. Like,
I know, it's so weird. What were the answers, sorry?
Booper, Blooper, Scooper, or Mysterious Ghostman?
I'm gonna go with Blooper.
I can't wait to see how many of these you get right, George.
I've probably got none of these right, let's be honest.
We should do a challenge if you get them wrong.
Please don't. Let's not. I was not ready for this. I did not swat up on gaming knowledge before this.
How about you have to down a whole pint of juice you're
I'd
drinking?
have to go and get one.
Juice, George.
yeah.
We have to call it juice for the sake of the video.
Alcoholic juice.
No, non-alcoholic juice, George. You're not allowed that on YouTube. So if you get, let's say, if you get less than 30, you have to down the juice.
Okay, that's fine.
Down.
But I do need a Wii first.
That's fine. How many Legend of Zelda games are there? 5, 8, 10, or 15?
I
What's
think
the
it's
beat?
15.
You think 15?
Yeah, because there are a bunch on
That
the
sounds
Game
like a
Boy and
lot.
all the
Come on,
previous.
George. 15.
I think 15 because I know that there was 2 on the Wii, maybe 3, and there were some remakes. So I'm gonna guess it's the highest number.
Trying to put 4 down. Trying. There's not even a number 4 option. 15. Okay. He's just guessing that. I like how you're taking part, Train. I don't know where everybody else has gone. There is 7 people watching, but I guess they're just enjoying the rambling. What is main character called in Final Fantasy series? Mog, Cecil, Benjamin, or there isn't a main character actually?
I don't think there is.
I wouldn't have thought there is, but I've not really played them, so I can't.
What was it? Was it Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts?
Final Fantasy. You got Mog.
I'm gonna say there's no because I think it changes.
Okay.
Because I know that you got Cloud, but I know you played
This
Cloud
is
for
an
a little bit.
interesting one. What is Mario's original name? Is it Alessandro, Jumpman, Giovanni, or Fonteri? I think a lot of these are from the Assassin's Creed games. I know what this one is.
I'm gonna say Jumpman because
Yeah.
in the early
I'll
games
say
that's what
that.
he.
I
all he
remember
did was
that.
just
I watched
jump and go sideways,
You
right?
got to watch that Netflix documentary. It's really good for the game and stuff. It's like split into different parts. You got one on Sonic, Mario.
Have I told you that I've got a fact about Donkey Kong later?
No. But now
It's
we
a
know.
good one.
How long's this
It's a good
podcast going to go? It's probably going to be like a 5-hour podcast.
It's been 1 hour 5 minutes at the minute.
It's not bad. I feel like we've been sitting down for 5 minutes. It's good when you talk like this. It's not very you know, like when you're playing a game, it's very straining. Like sometimes because you your eyes and you're thinking a lot. With this, we're just chatting.
Yeah, you've got to focus. Whereas this, we're not really
Very
focusing.
relaxed.
Sort of
This is
ramble for a
basically
lot
just
more.
what me and George used to do when we used to live together, really. Okay, so what is the currency used in Minecraft Earth? I've not played Minecraft Earth. Is it mine coins? Is it Bitmine? Is it pound sterling? Or is it rubies? I mean, looking at that picture.
I mean, the picture kind of gives it away, doesn't it? Rubies.
I'll laugh if that's the wrong answer. That picture just
Oh,
we got an Apex Legends question.
Hey.
How many people downloaded Apex Legends during its first week of release? Was it A, 5 million? Was it B, around 25 million? Was it C, 100 million? Or was it D, the biggest number ever known as a Googleplex? Well, I don't think it's D.
I'm gonna say the second one down because for an early release game,
I'll probably say 100. Well, no, that's too many. What am I saying?
Yeah,
100 billion. That's like everyone on Earth. How many people are on Earth? Like 7 billion. 7 billion people.
Maybe.
So how can they have 100 billion? That would be impossible. I'd go with 25.
Yeah, I'm going with the second one.
Because the others make no sense. I know Apex is good, but come on, 100 billion.
Here we go. Pokemon Go. Let's go.
Which of the following is not a Pokemon Go team? Team Mystic.
Okay, here we go.
Team Velcro. Well, come on. Who put this question in?
You're gonna bet it, and it's gonna be Velcro. I was like, I'm good at this.
Or Team Valor.
Velcro.
That is the easiest question in this whole quiz.
I'm so angry because that is one of the few things that I know.
Which Roblox game is this? B Tycoon, B Warfare, B Swarm Simulator, or Honey I'm Home?
First one.
It could be any one of them. I have no idea.
Yeah, we're
the
not
first one.
Seasoned.
Oh
Yeah,
god, I'll click second.
Oh well.
Looks like we're going with B Warfare. Trying to test B Swarm Simulator. Remember, guys, if George doesn't get at least 30, he's going to down a can of juice. Metaton is a character from which game? I have no idea. Overtale, Round Table, Undertale, or Fruitale? It's got to be Undertale, surely.
Yeah, it's the only game that actually exists there.
What? Oh my god. Well, my brother, shut up. He's literally sniping. As the demon pig comes up, pulling that face. He looks like he's concerned about what's going on in the background.
I'm concerned about what's going on.
This is literally like one of my videos that I made a couple of weeks ago where I did quizzes, so it's quite fun to do it live.
I'm going to answer this one more question and then I'm going to take a break, go for a wee and bring another can up.
Well, I'm going to go and get a drink as well. What's this name of this porky Minecraft hero? Is it Judge Rinder? Is it Ruben? Is it Pork Chop? Or is it Marcus?
I'm going to go with Ruben and then I'm going to go for a wee.
I just had a thought as well, George. If you want to prepare one of these quizzes for me later, if you can find one on your way up. Alright, guys, we're going to take a little commercial break. So I'm just going to unplug the mic and we'll be back shortly. So just hang tight, guys, and we'll be back. Alright, we'll see you in a bit. Couple of minutes.
I don't know if chat can hear me. Probably not. What else? Followed. Hi. How are you doing?
Welcome back.
I only have one can left, so if I do fail this, sad times.
One question left.
No, I got one can left. One strongbow.
We could do another challenge, but I can't think of what it would be.
No, it's fine. I'm happy with this. It's fine.
Okay. Someone said, where is he? Sorry, guys. We have to take a little break because we have to go and get a drink and stuff. We have been streaming for over like an hour.
Hour 50.
Hey, Mohammed. We're in the middle of our new podcast called the SHEDCAST. You're still here. Thanks, Trey.
Whereas mine's called Two Dudes Sitting in a Podcast.
George is also
120
doing a
miles
podcast.
apart because they're not gay.
Very weird name. If you want to follow George, then you can go on Ravy Graves 12 Facebook. Facegob. Don't forget to like the stream as well, guys, if you want more of these. We're currently in the middle of our gaming quiz. Well, if George doesn't get more than 30, or doesn't get at least 30, he will have to down a can of juice.
Juice.
Yeah, PS5, we're thinking about... we're not thinking about it. We're going to talk about the PlayStation 5 a bit more later. It's basically a rambling video. Okay. We're not going to be answering the chat as much, guys, because we're doing a quiz, and, you know, it's a podcast, so we're supposed to be chatting. Alright, guys, stop spamming. If you keep spamming them, you will have your mod removed, by the way. Okay, George, so what did the Nintendo company originally make? Was it A, grey plastic boxes? Was it B, hula hoops? Was it C, comic books? Give me a second, I just got to put people in timeout. Or was it D, playing cards? It's a hard one, I don't even know this.
Well,
They do look like plastic boxes.
Yeah, I'm going to say playing cards, because I think jumping from a company that doesn't make some sort of game is like a huge jump to be like, oh yeah, we make boxes, and then now we're a technological giant.
Yeah, but it does kind of look, I mean, look how much they look like plastic boxes. You going with cards?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, but I'm going to go with cards. I feel like the grey boxes might be a red herring.
We don't care about face scope. We're busy doing a podcast, yeah. Maybe we'll talk about him later, but I got no idea who the guy is. Who is Elf Warrior? Is it A? Is it Buddy? Is it B? Is it Link? C, Legolas? Or D, Elf on the Shelf?
I'm assuming it's Link. I don't know what gives me this idea. Maybe the picture.
That's such an easy question.
Yeah, compared to the grey boxes one, yeah.
Why do I feel like he was based on Legolas? Why do I get that impression?
Maybe, but I feel like for them to make, for a Japanese company to make,
you know what I could just start doing? Just sabotage it and purposely put wrong answers.
I really can't see what you're doing, so I wouldn't know.
What's the name of this classic Nintendo platform game? I've seen this game. I've played this as well. Is it Furious Gorilla Escapade? Is it B, Barrel O' Monkeys? Is it C, Plumber vs. Ape? Or is it D, Donkey Kong?
It's probably Donkey Kong. Although Barrel of Monkeys does sound fun.
I think this is pre-Donkey Kong now. I think this was the
so
first one that it was introduced in though.
It might be Barrel of Monkeys then. Based on my knowledge of pixels.
It's your choice.
Nah, I don't mind. Go with Donkey Kong, but I don't know.
My
If
God,
it was.
we're on 13 likes. We got a dislike though, but who cares? Forget about that.
That's probably who you
Let's
timed
try and
out.
get 15 likes, guys. Parallel Monkeys.
Barrel of Monkeys. No, Donkey Kong.
Oh, I'm pressing now, Joy. This should totally be your profile picture, man. Which
I used to do
country?
stuff like that, didn't I? I used to put
Yeah.
my nose out of pictures.
Which country invented PlayStation? Was it China, South Korea, Japan, or Vietnam? It should be focusing. It looks like it's focused to me.
Japan or China? I'd say Japan.
I'll say Japan as well.
Because they're like the technological
It
giants.
looks fine
of
to
the
me,
World War II
Mohammed.
era.
Try it up in your quality.
No,
Up,
it
up,
might
up.
be because you're capping me off.
Saying Japan.
Discord.
Keeping with a geography theme, where was the Tetris creator Alexei Pajatnov born? Was it Russia, Romania, Scotland, or Canada?
Russia.
I feel like it might have been Romania.
He's risky, but it was.
It does look like
I
a
think
Russian name. I
the
don't think it's
music-
definitely not Scotland or Canada. I know that
I
much.
guess that's Scotland.
You know, you didn't get any anything back from the game till like 2000 and something. They didn't give him any commission. They stole his game
I know, it's horrible, isn't it?
because he wasn't American citizen. Best selling game of all time.
Yeah, no, he didn't get any dividends from it. Yes, it's horrible how.
You're saying Russia?
Yeah, I'm saying Russia.
I'm just gonna have a biscuit break, guys. Oh, I've clicked Romania.
Oh, you.
Because I slipped with my biscuit. And someone subscribed to my brother. What's the name of this FIFA player? Is it Alex Hunter, Alan Hunter, Alistair Hunter, or Alec Hunter?
I'd say the second one, but I can't really see the picture that well. So, Alex.
It's FIFA
Hello,
19,
Alex.
but it's like the single player mode. Are you saying Alex?
I'm gonna say Alex, but I'm not sure because I can't really see the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Roller Coaster Tycoon?
I thought that, but it's Roblox theme question.
Oh, god damn it!
Which Roblox game can you build your own roller coasters? Is it A, Roblox Fairground Simulator? B, Theme Park Wizard? Jump the Queue or Theme Park Tycoon 2?
The one with wizard in the name.
They've totally stole
Seems
that
like-
from Roller Coaster Tycoon, man.
I mean, all
That's
games.
what Roblox
are,
does, though, isn't it? They steal games.
Yeah, all games steal from other games. There's no way that's never been.
Avocados from Mexico. Hey, bro. How many V-Bucks does this Hot Rider glider cost?
Ah, yes. We are well known for playing the Fortnite.
Is it 50 V-Bucks? Nothing would cost 50 V-Bucks. They rip people off too much.
Yeah.
250 V-Bucks. 1,500 V-Bucks or 2,000 V-Bucks?
I'll go for 1,000 something.
Are you reading the
Yeah,
chat,
that one
George?
No.
I feel like Trayton would do so well at this quiz. Complete the name of
does
this
feel like
game.
it's aimed
Plants
at
vs.
Fortnite.
Is
Zombies.
it A, Gardeners? Plants vs. Gardeners. Is it B, People from Next Door?
I mean, they could technically be people from next door.
Is it C, Shufflers? Removes in the Shufflers, or is it Zombies? That's such an easy question.
Yeah, zombies, no doubt.
Sonic! Why is this blue hedgehog called Sonic? Because he's mascot of the Seattle Supersonics baseball team. Because he can sprint at supersonic speeds. He was named after the game's creator, Keith Sonic. I don't think the game's creator was called Keith. I'll be honest
Not
with
a
you.
Japanese game, no. If it was like, it was
That Japanese guy, Keith.
Miyamoto Soniko, maybe. I
Or
don't
because it just sounds cool.
know. The second one, he can run at supersonic speeds.
I feel like it's just because it sounds cool, but I don't know. How many Super Mario Maker games have been released on PlayStation? PlayStation.
0. On PlayStation 0.
Yeah,
They're all on the Nintendo
exactly.
Switch.
Is it A0, 1, 2, or 3? Obviously 0 on that one.
Yes.
What are Fortnite dances actually called?
What? It's so blurry on my screen that I thought I didn't know what that was dangling, man. I was concerned.
I love the pictures. Is it A, struts, B, emotes, C, moves, or D, victory poses?
Maybe they're called emotes, but they're probably not.
I would have said moves, but yeah.
Yeah, that was my second choice, but everything's always been called an emote like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or gestures, or whatever. I don't know. Oh, bloody Roblox.
No, I'm just gonna say, George, for an ultimate gaming quiz, there's an awful lot of Roblox and Fortnite questions.
It's not exactly ultimate, more like pandering to the masses.
Have you found one for me
whatever.
yet?
No, I've not looked yet. I'll find one for you after we do the next segment.
On what date was Roblox released? Was it A? I'm sure you had this one in your calendar, George. Was it A, September 1st, 2006? That's too early, I think. September
about right,
1st,
though.
2010. September 1st, 2015, or September 1st, 2019?
I'm going to go with 2006 because I knew that it existed for a long time.
Okay.
And the graphics have not
Trayton's
improved.
agreeing with you. What type of animal is Bowser? Is it A, a Koopa? Is it B, a Gammon? Is it C, a Blurg? Or D, a Cadoo? I've never heard of any of these.
Cooper.
Okay. Oh god, I just accidentally clicked that. Again. But, what was Minecraft's adventure mode originally called? Was it Dungeons and Levers, Swords and Sticks, the Crystal Maze, or Building Site Banter? But I've accidentally clicked Stones and Sticks.
It's Dungeons and
I'm sure you have this on your calendar. Which game engine does FIFA 20 use? Is it Frozone 2? Is it Chilled Digits, BitParky, or Frostbite 3?
I'm assuming it's Frostbite free because everything else has cold and number. And Frostbite is the only one that sort of makes sense.
Hey, Panda's here. He's not been here for a while. Hey, Panda. Here's a scene from the awesome game NHL 20. Which team does this goaltender play for? Is it the
yellow.
Toronto Maple Leafs? Is it the Boston Bruins? The Nashville Predators? Or Arizona Coyotes?
I'm gonna go Arizona, but I can't really see.
It does look more like a coyote on the t-shirt.
I can't really see it. It's so blurry, but sure.
Okay. We'll go Coyotes then. NBA 2K20. Which player is on the regular edition of the baseball game? NBA 2K20. Is it
that LeBron? I can't really.
LeBron James? Is it
Probably LeBron James.
Anthony Davis? Remember when I used to say that in front of our flatmate?
LeBron James.
Kawhi Leonard or James Harden?
I mean, they're all basketball players.
Yeah, which one are you
LeBron
going to go for?
James.
To be honest, I can actually see LeBron James written underneath on the game, but his face is blurred out. I feel like I have to help you with that question because I've already messed up on a few questions by accidentally clicking it.
I already knew it, you goblin.
The funny thing is, the question that I messed up on, you'll probably get right. What's this classic Atari video game called? Is it Ping? Is it Pong? Is it Ping Pong? Or is it Table Tennis Masters 72?
Pong.
You don't think it's Table Tennis Masters 72?
No, something tells me it's not.
I don't think they'll call it Pong, George, but, you know. It's your quiz. When Mario completes a level, what does he jump onto?
Flagpole.
A box, a turtle, a button, or a flagpole? Flagpole, okay.
Flagpole.
The Minecraft planet is a similar size to which actual planet? Is it Earth? Is it Mars? Is it Neptune? Or is it Saturn? Look at the picture on this one.
I'm assuming it's Earth, but I've got no idea.
Oh, you stream till
I don't even know
12. We'll stream till as long as it goes on for, really.
I think maybe 10 is probably going to be the cut-off point. I need to eat.
George is saying 10. Shadow, hope you enjoyed the last night of 2020. Thanks for all the content throughout the year that has kept me and subscribers entertained. Thanks. You're welcome, bro. Anytime. I hope to keep you guys entertained throughout 2021 as well, if you guys want me to. This game rocks. What is it called? Brutal Legend, Metal Dude, Rockman, or Heavy Metal Thunder?
What? I'm gonna go with Heavy Metal Thunder because that sounds the coolest.
What colour was Pac-Man originally? Was he orange, white, blue, or still yellow? What colour was he originally, George? Pac-Man.
What were the choices again?
Orange, white, blue, or still yellow?
I'm gonna say yellow, but only because on a.
I would have
CRT
thought
screen-
white. I would have thought they would have
well,
had to change it because it doesn't stand out against the dots.
Yeah, but I was thinking maybe because like they might have limited color palette on it, so having the character be a different
Right.
color to the dots.
Last question. Pac-Man was rainbow. What does Tomb Raider's Lara Croft and Indiana Jones have in common?
Archaeologists. Next.
They have the
question.
same middle name. They both speak Danish. They are archaeologists, or they're food of Norwich City FC. They're fond of Norwich City FC. I'm guessing whoever did this quiz is a Norwich City FC supporter.
Norwich.
Norwich. Right. Archaeologists.
They're archaeologists.
I
and
can't
they
even
are
speak, man.
Them and great.
Okay,
are the
George.
peak-
34 out of 50. You've been saved. Yeah, you sound like Mario then. You've actually been saved from drinking a full can of juice. Well, that was the quiz, guys. I hope you enjoyed the interactive part of the podcast.
Game over.
I'm
Right.
back.
All the way to come back. Let's do recommendations.
Alright, George is back
Let me,
as well.
let me open your tab.
Recommendations.
Okay, go there.
Look at that moustache, chat. Look at that moustache.
Give me your TV recommendation. But before we do this, let me tell you, my first...
I'll give you a
Two?
Netflix recommendation.
Yeah, I have mine on Netflix as well. They're both, my two are both Korean films. I didn't go with English films because...
You know I'm never going to watch a Korean film, George. So,
Oh, no, I know. This is mainly
This
for
is
your
for the
chat,
audience.
Right?
45 out
Like-
of 50.
The reason why I've gone with non-English films is because I think Hollywood sort of washed a lot of good films. They're not good
Mhm.
anymore. I think we're too used to the sort of
I mean,
to
they're
how
not cheesy
they
anymore.
go, right? We're too used to them.
I
So
quite
I've
like
gone
how
with-
they go, George. I'll be honest with you. So,
Yeah, well, I like actually not knowing what's going to happen just by watching 7 other films of the same sort of general direction.
by the way, guys, if you think you could do better in the quiz, then you can go and do it yourself. It's on the Beano website. But carry on, George.
Okay, so for my TV recommendation,
Yeah.
I have chosen Sweet Home, which is a Korean horror. It's an apocalyptic fiction. It's really good. I don't know whether people in your chat will like it, but I really
What's it
enjoyed
called? Swedish Home.
Sweet Home.
Okay.
It's sort of stop motiony horror.
I like Barry
it's
Jupp, come on.
live action, but it's got like really like janky
Mhm.
movements, and it's good. I like it. What is yours? I know that I saw that there were the trailer. Doesn't Karate Kid get released?
Yeah, I was going to
Cobra
mention
Kai
that
get released
because
on
I
Friday,
love
right?
that show. I mean, I'm a big Karate Kid fan. One of my favourite movies of all time. That franchise, I love it. As well as Rocky. But I'll give you a Netflix recommendation. It's a new show. The Queen's Gambit. I watched that all the way through. Brilliant. It's about chess
good.
and it makes it cool. I've always been a fan of chess anyway. But, you know, it makes it
Ever
cool.
since-
It makes
ever
it
since
cool.
that Pixar
You
short.
know how much chess sets have gone up. Like no one was buying chess sets for like the last 20 years because it just declined. Suddenly it's skyrocketed. Everyone wants a chess set. It's made chess cool again. And it's
mean-
not like it's not boring. It's not just about chess. Like it has a lot of different tropes in it. It's more for older audiences, guys. So I wouldn't really suggest it for you guys if you're a bit younger. But it is. It's a really
mean,
good watch. It's like a thriller
It
type
does
thing.
introduce chess to a younger audience, which
Well,
is-
not really young audience, but like young
Young age.
adults, I guess.
us.
But yeah, and she looks so cool in it as well.
when was it set? It
I
was
think they said
80s
she's
or-
supposed to be like one of the most beautiful actors of like 2020 or something. She was voted for.
It was set in the 80s, right? Or was it 70s?
Mine is Watch Edwards. I think the 70s, 60s or 70s. It's a period one as well. I quite like things that are set in those periods. So
I quite like,
brilliant. And I don't really watch TV shows that often. Like I don't usually click on them. And I was like, oh, this seems interesting. I was like, what is this
just
about?
the picture alone makes it interesting, right?
I didn't think it had
just
anything
heard
about chess. Because I'd just seen her picture, but I watched it and I was like, this is brilliant. And it is in the top 10, like 2020 shows.
Yeah, and it's based
Really
on a
good.
real chess move, right?
Really
the
good.
Queen's Gambit is a...
It's a true story as well, I think.
Yeah, it's a recognised chess move. I know that. I've heard it said before on other shows.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I really like that.
Tell me your film recommendation.
Film recommendation. It's a tough one because, you know, I'm big into movies. Like, you can see all my DVDs. Like, if I recommend one, I've got so many. I'm trying to think of something I've watched recently.
Focus on just one until I looked on, yet again, Netflix. Our great go-to friend.
I'm trying to think of one that I've watched, like, recently. I'll tell you one that I want to watch and I can't watch. Wonder Woman 1984. Only available on HBO Max. It's only available on HBO Max and we can't get it in the UK yet. So basically, we can't watch it. And other stuff that I'm looking forward to watching is I'm looking forward to watching Krypton, which I've ordered, the first series. Looks pretty good. If you go on YouTube, you can see a clip of Doomsday being born. It's basically like Superman versus Superman, basically, but it seems quite interesting. And also Pennyworth.
While we're on like the superhero stuff, I saw that was it New Mutants was released quite recently.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
The trailer a long time ago. I think it was maybe last year I saw it, maybe year before that. I remember looking at it and thinking that trailer looks incredible. I'm gonna watch that. And now it's come out. I'm now gonna go and sit down and watch it. I don't know what platform it's on. It might be Netflix. It might be Prime. It might be some other random one. So for mine, I've gone for #Alive, which is again a Korean horror. Haha.
I was going to look on Netflix, but I can't get it open because I got my game capturing, so it won't load up.
So it's like a modern day retelling of zombies.
Alright, Panda.
But it's not like Shaun of the Dead is a comedy one, right?
Have you seen that Death to 2020? I've not seen it, but...
No, I've not. What's it about?
Death to 2020. What's it about? Well, I don't know, but I'm guessing it's about 2020, George.
Probably, yeah.
A film about a pandemic, made in a pandemic, where they're supposed to be staying at home saving lives. They're out there filming a film about 2020. You know, causing more spread of the virus, really. A bit silly. I don't know. I've not seen it, so I won't be watching it because I don't want to know any more about 2020. It will be coming out of that
We've
tunnel.
had enough. We've had enough of 2020.
What else, George? As I say, I've not got one that I can specifically say because I watched so many films that you know, it's difficult to pick one. But I've not watched any like new films recently because there's not been any coming out. The last film I watched was Bill and Ted. That's the last film I watched in cinema. That's one of the only... Well, there's only been a select few that's actually been released this year in cinema. That's one of them. That was a really fun film. I'm like a big fan of that series as well, and it's like it's really goofy and silly, but it just works so well. It's like a feel-good film, so I really enjoyed that.
Okay, I've got two more. I've got music and game. Tell me which one you want to do first.
Well, this is a game stream, George. A podcast. Podcast, Marlon. Hey, Marlon. Well, we'll do music first.
Okay. So I've gone with a classic one. This is an old one, 1980s sort of. I can't remember the exact date. I've gone for Ziggy Stardust and the Spider from Mars because I know that your audience is a younger audience. I've decided.
George wants you to listen to David Bowie.
I want you to listen to David Bowie. That's what I want. That's what I want you to listen to.
George, you're asking me these questions. I'm totally not prepared. Let me look at my music playlist. Let me look at my music playlist.
I'll recommend my game,
I think I'd recommend the Kid Leroy, but I feel like everyone already listens to that because he's massive at the moment. But I like all of his stuff, although that's probably not suitable for a younger audience. So
No, that's sort of why I sort of went for maybe something older that would target a younger audience. So
I'll tell you what's a good song is Ozzy Osbourne and Post Malone. They made a
I've
song
not heard
together.
them.
This is kind of a
It's not a good
recommendation
song.
for you. No,
What?
it's not Ozzy Osbourne and Post Malone, but they have made a song together. It's called Ordinary Man by Ozzy Osbourne and Elton John. Two big
Right
personalities talking about being an ordinary man. But it's a brilliant song.
Okay, while we're on the subject of Elton John, he recently did a collab with Gorillaz for their Song Machine
Yeah.
project, which had been a YouTube thing.
See, he doesn't really
So-
make much like music these days, does he? He just does collabs.
Yeah, but his work with Gorillaz, I think the song is called The Pink Panther. It's got rappers in it, and it's really good.
George, we hit 15 likes as well, by the way. Us talking rubbish for an hour and a half. 15 likes.
So, as well as that, I would suggest listening to Song Machine by Gorilla. They have an entire playlist of.
I don't
of
listen to
collaborations.
Gorillaz very often. I can't even remember Gorillaz songs. What's the most
They
like
brought-
noticed?
The
No,
most
no.
famous one is Dare. Or
How does it go? Because I know it when I hear it.
It's Dare. Ooh, do 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 do.
No. This is what we do when we can't share music on the stream, guys. We sing the
Hold
song.
it down there.
Why is there a
It's got,
PS5? Because we've been talking about gaming news. So
It's got Sean Ryder in, and he is the worst singer live I've ever heard.
no.
I watched live. They did like a Gorillaz concert, sort of like Glastonbury, but it was called like Demon Days.
I wonder if any of you guys in
And-
the chat listen to Gorillaz.
Yeah, I hope so. If not, you all should go listen to Gorillaz. It's great. It's great for gaming actually. Like it's got a decent beat, and the lyrics are sort of relaxing. For
Well,
most of
no
them.
doubt they have
They're-
been used in a lot of video games. I'm guessing.
Yeah, even if they haven't, like they were the first animated band. They were before Daft Punk, or they did something different than Daft Punk.
I'm up
Daft
all
Punk
night
didn't
together.
work.
I'm up all night to this.
So Daft Punk was sort.
That's
they
another
were a
recommendation
band-
for you guys. Listen to Daft Punk if you're a bit younger and you don't remember those 2013 bangers.
Long before
Yeah,
that.
they've been around for a while, but
20 years.
yeah, 20 years.
They've been consistently good. Or they're like Daft Punk are always a great.
I love bands like that only put out like good music. Like even these artists now,
kinda
like
rare
Post
now,
Malone and
yeah.
Kid Leroy and stuff, their albums, I don't think there's a bad song on there. If there is, there's probably only like one or two that are like not as good as the others, but they are still decent songs. Whereas if you look back to like 30, 40 years ago, there used to just be one or two standout songs, and the rest of them
Yeah, I
on
mean,
par.
especially with some of the like 60s, 70s stuff,
Mm.
they'd specifically market it based on like 2 or 3 songs, and then they'd put a bunch of fillers in,
Yeah.
which is where the saying "no filler, all thriller" came from, which was based on them putting out so much music just to pad these albums out.
I'm gonna look for some music news, see if there's anything flowing around.
Okay, you do that, and I will say my game recommendations for your young impersonal audience. Uncharted, all of the Uncharted series. I've never had a game hit me so hard as Uncharted 4. Like, so they're masterpieces, really. From 1 to 4,
Uncharted
they're
4, yeah.
superb.
I've not played The Lost Legacy, but I think I might be getting that game. No, I was gonna, because it was gonna be in a bundle that I got with a PS2 bundle for some reason. I was like, that's a bargain.
Because, they know what sells, It's such a, it's Naughty Dog, right? Naughty Dog Studios. They have yet to make a horrible game.
Lost Legacy, I feel like that's the only not as good
Questionable
one,
one.
but
It's a questionable one.
if
right?
they bring out Uncharted 5 on the PS5, which I think they will, it's going to be a smash out of the park.
So did
This is quite
Naughty
cool.
Dog do?
Thank you very much.
I'm having a quick Google.
I believe they did Watch Dogs. Am I right in thinking
Yeah,
they
they've
did Watch
done.
Dogs?
They've done. They did The Last of Us, is what I was gonna say.
Didn't they make
But I
Crash
recognise
Bandicoot?
I'll tell you what, they did. Crash Bandicoot was originally a Naughty Dog property.
Yeah. Uncharted, no doubt, is like
Great.
a massive game series. And PS3 and PS4, they have had standout games. Like you say,
Yeah.
all the Uncharted have been amazing. I actually suggested them to you, didn't I, to play?
Yeah, I was planning on doing them because I'd watched. I think one of the Yogscast members play Uncharted. Drake's Deception. I don't know.
It's probably one of the only games that I've played twice.
Yeah, because it even if you play it, you
Like,
might
I've
not
been
100%
thinking,
it.
like when I started this channel and I started the streaming, I was playing Uncharted, wasn't I? Even when I was at uni, I was still getting through number 4. I don't think I even finished number 4, but that was always like a game that I started on because I knew it was a decent series, and it's a really good start when you start streaming. And I'm thinking maybe sometime in 2021 I might start them again and do another playthrough of them.
Yeah, I remember we when we first played Spyro, we did a game race, which we can easily do a game of Uncharted because we both got them all.
Well, now we have all the software to actually do it. Like how I've set this podcast up, we could easily implement this into a game race based video. Like I could have your game up there, my game here, and you know.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like even if it was delayed from capping it on stream, it wouldn't matter because we've got 2 separate streams running at the same time.
Yeah, we can do that. It's something we can do.
Yeah, because I remember slamming through Drake's Deception in 15 hours. Like, that's the first game that I've done in one sitting. It's the only
It's not
game
boring
I've
though,
done
is
in one
it?
sitting.
There's no like
No,
filler.
it's a beautiful game.
There's no filler like parts of the game. It's all action. It's all fun.
Yeah, and it looks great as well, which is something which, no matter how hard you work on a game, if it doesn't look good, it won't sell and it won't be a brilliant game. You've got to really focus on your art department as a production studio, right?
I'm always talking about my eye, then my dodgy eye. Yeah, it's amazing. Uncharted's so good, and the story's like really good as well. I'm hoping they do number
And
5.
exactly. My other suggestion was RimWorld, which is a completely out there game
RimWorld.
from some RimWorld. So it's top down.
That doesn't sound very good. Top down.
No. So it's a colony survival kind of thing. So you play as specific characters, and they do these tasks for you, and you build like a colony. And there are so many good mods for it, but I don't think I'll ever play it on stream because I've sort of sold myself as this first person shooter sort of.
My recommendation to you, George, but you can carry on first. I don't want to interrupt you. Carry on.
We always have done, right? We've always been first person shooter or Minecraft or first person shooter and
Yeah, but you gotta remember that we both grew up on the single player generation. We both grew up on PS2 games, so we're not averse to playing those games. We're not against them. A lot of people now just play online games, but like Spider-Man and the new Miles Morales, awesome games, and you need to play them. Spider-Man 1's quite cheap now. It might even come to PlayStation Plus soon. I'm thinking probably like in a couple of months. You should definitely play that.
Yeah, I remember it looking really great and having like.
I might end up buying that in the store anyway, because I've got to replay number 1 and do some of the DLCs. But for you, that would be a good game to play. I hope that going forward they do bring out more games like that where they've just got stunning graphics and a stunning story. Uncharted is a great example of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because it focuses on the story, and it does have its online mode, but for me, I didn't bother with the online mode. I just wanted to play the story.
I mean, even Assassin's Creed have that sort of like nice thing about them, where even though the things are sort of repetitive and you're doing the same sort of fetch quests, because you've got that open world, it sort of feels.
World War II was really good. That's a really good game for you to play as well. The campaign, though. That is probably the best campaign. And, campaigns get a bit boring, but that one, because it's set in World War II, it actually had more meaning to it, and it was quite heartfelt, well,
Yeah.
it's quite emotional because you go to some of like the Nazi war camps and stuff, and you see like what it's like to be there at that time. So that's a game that you should definitely try. And you've already got World War II, haven't you? So you could think
Yeah,
about doing
we were
that.
given it for free for PlayStation Plus maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Yeah. Getting on to music news, George.
Mm-hmm.
Your favourite singer, Jessie J, was hospitalised on Christmas Eve
What for?
for a mystery illness. I'll have a look. Mystery illness.
The problem with looking for the news at this late moment is it's all going to be.
I woke up and I felt like I was completely deaf in my right ear. Couldn't walk straight in a straight line. Just explains. Basically, I got told I had Meniere's syndrome. If I've ever heard of that.
No, me neither. It must be a specialised.
Pink was also hospitalised
Jesus.
with a fractured ankle. Zayn Malik's sister wedding reception broken up by police. See, none of this has anything to do with music. That's the problem.
No, I know. It's...
Dave Grohl would only create original Christmas song upon rock retirement.
Yeah.
Was he
I
part
don't blame him.
of Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yeah. No, Dave Grohl is Foo Fighters.
Yeah. It's basically just all rubbish, really.
The problem with entertainment news, they kind of all just pandered to...
I want it to be about the music, though, but it's not.
It's mostly doom scrolling, right? Where you're just looking
Gossip.
at the...
It's like gossip TV, magazines.
I hate gossip TV, it's so annoying. Okay, we're going to move on. I've got an on this day. So, on this day, I've got actually 1, 2, 3, 4 of these, by the way, just saying. And they're a couple of years apart. So, 24 years ago today,
Yeah.
the hit game Diablo was released.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of Diablo?
Yep. 24 years ago, though.
Yep.
PS1.
24 years. I didn't check. Maybe. 24 years seems like a... Nintendo 64 came out on 24 years ago, so it might have been maybe NES, maybe something like that. Last gen of... And then 23 years ago, in my birth year, the game Worms 2 was released.
Worms 2.
Worms 2.
Oh, that is a brilliant game.
Worms is great.
But it would have
Worms is
fit
great.
with the new console, really.
Yeah, I mean, they which one did they just release?
Did they?
It wasn't Armageddon, it was something else.
And they released the new Worms.
I don't know when they released it, but yeah, it's fully revamped graphics, I think.
I don't
then
think
20
I would play Worms on the PS4. It just doesn't have that kind of vibe to it.
No, I mean, maybe it feels more like an Xbox game, and I don't know why I feel that way.
Because Xbox is trash, that's why.
22 years ago, Castlevania was released. That is a great game.
Never
Play
heard of that
Castlevania.
one.
Castlevania is great. And then this is one which I think you will have played, maybe questionable. 18 years ago, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
Yeah, I think I played that. The Lord of the Rings games
What
on PS2,
game.
they were
That
great.
was so good.
They were great. The story and everything.
Mhm.
I feel like that's more reminiscent of modern gaming. It's like, during that era of PS2, that's one of the games where the graphics actually looked pretty decent. The story was good. It was a solid game.
It was a precursor to pretty much most of the new games, right? The sort of things they set up in that pushed the boundaries of gaming. It's
Yeah.
amazing when you think about it. It was 18 years ago.
Have you watched all the
That
Lord of
was-
the Rings?
Oh yeah, I love Lord of the Rings.
Have you watched them back to back?
Yeah, in one sitting.
I tried. Like, I've watched
Oh.
them all, and I really enjoyed them. And I tried to watch them again, and I just fell asleep.
The problem is, once you've watched them
They're
once,
3 hours long,
Q&A
aren't they?
maybe in about 20 minutes. Do you think for Q&A?
Q&A soon. But we're kind of mixing that in anyway. But we will be doing one soon, yeah. Carry on, George.
So that's it. That's all that I picked out. A couple of games from the that were released today. there are a load more, but a lot of them were sort of filler games that I've never really heard of.
Yep.
Did you want to talk about? I've got a couple of questions about experiences, our first experiences with gaming, sort of. And
Let me
specifically, like,
one
what was
second,
your
George.
first console? Oh yeah.
Alright, I've got some Apex Legends news for you.
Oh yeah,
They're finally giving
They released-
Pathfinder a backstory in the video for that,
yeah.
which I had no idea.
Yeah, it was stories from the Outland, right? I've still got to watch it.
And they've
Came out
also
yesterday.
leaked new maps, arenas, and more.
Yeah, but that's unconfirmed.
They're also
leak.
getting an in-game damage tracker in Season 8.
That's good. I'm glad that
Although
that's
we're
a
not
thing. because-
playing Apex, I
been-
just thought I'd have a quick look.
So, the problem with unconfirmed leaks on Apex is they've done it in the past where they put like fake information into the files.
Yeah.
So when crypto was supposedly like hacked or whatever, I can't remember exactly what it was, but crypto, they put the wrong data in for crypto so that you'd get confused, and they did the same for Loba. Loba was like sort of pushed out as her name was going to be Rose and stuff, and I think her name is Rose. Like deep, like if you deep dive into the
It
files. and
doesn't
stuff.
seem like a rose, does she?
No, exactly. But they always seem to put a bunch of like, I'm gonna call it chaff, which is what they used in World War II for the planes and stuff, where it's sort of like a smoke screen. And I'm kind of glad because I've unfollowed a lot of like leakers because it's really ruins the game. And imagine working for years on a game only for like 2 days before it was released, which I think happened with the.
To be honest, I feel like leaks are getting like they're not happening as much these days, especially with
No.
TV shows and things. Because a lot of like TV shows have contracts in place now, where if you leak stuff, your
They always
career's
did,
ruined.
but they've always had.
I know, but
contracts,
there's always been ways for it to slip under the radar. But now I think it's becoming more. You know, if you leak something, you're gonna get found out, and I think it's happening a lot less.
I know that when, like, one of the Apex updates, I think it might have been low, but it might have been close, crypto. They've been pushing this lore and information out for months and months leading up to this character getting released, only for them to get hacked and data dumped the day before it released. So there was no build up, and all the information you've got. Like, imagine working that hard only for the day when you're supposed to sit back and enjoy the feedback you're getting from the community, for it to then be like, oh yeah, no, we already know all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's got to be heartbreaking.
But they do a good, they do a good job of revealing stuff with the videos and that. So it is kind of a shame when people ruin it. But at least you get to watch that video and have that cinematic. And the way they put that into the game is really good. That's why Apex does well.
I'll tell you what it is. Forge. It was Forge. When he got backstabbed, that was released before, and that, imagine, like, that was supposed to be a key moment, a key turning point in this
I
game.
don't think I've
right?
seen that, have I?
You don't? Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
So Forge was supposed to be a character. Like they put him out as like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the character. This is gonna be the character, and then he gets backstabbed by Revenant, and then it turns out Revenant's the character, not Forge. But like, that got ruined because one guy went, nope, 1 day early. If he like,
The thing is,
so
he
sad.
was probably in the development team as well, so he's ruined it for all his crew.
I don't think it was. I think it was just a hacker and
Huh.
I think he found it in the files because
That's
they pushed out an
what I
update early.
Data miners are terrible for things like that in games.
Yeah, it was data mining.
They find out everything. But why do you spend your time data mining when there's so much other things you can be doing? You know what I mean? Like,
It could be bit mining, like gold mining, anything. You could be doing anything with the computing power it's taking you to data mine these things.
exactly. Right, John.
What was your first console? Tell me.
My first console was the PlayStation 1. And I had it off my nephew, and my first game was Toy Story, which I've been trying to get back just for the
That was my
nostalgia.
next- That was my next question.
And you know how much that game is now? It's like £50. PS1 games have shot up. I had a Jackie Chan game that I
Yeah.
sold a couple of years ago. That's also £50 now. To think, like 5-10 years ago, everyone was selling off their PS1 games for 10 pence, and now they're worth so much money. It's just crazy.
This is the problem that I had. I had a lot of Nintendo 64 games and a lot of Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy games.
They've also shot up
I
in
needed
price
them.
a lot.
Yeah, I needed the money, so I sold them off like way too cheap, and I was too young, so I didn't really know what I was doing. But at the time, I felt like I got a good deal.
That's what I did when
And
I was
then-
younger as well. Sold everything off.
Roll on like a year, 2 years later, and a Game Boy game's going for like 30 quid or 40 quid or 50 quid.
I was looking at
depending on-
Game Boy games as well, and they're like £25 a game. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really sad that they get like. I mean, I understand why, because it's a limited thing and there's limited stock. And
Yeah, but a
like,
couple of
time
years
goes
ago,
on
you
and
could
they-
find them on a market store in a charity shop for like £1.
Not even
or
that.
50p.
About 10 years ago,
Hmm.
I say 10 years, it might be less, might be more. I'm generalizing. There was our local, I'm going to say game store, but it was just called Game. Like, I don't know how to say that in a way that doesn't make it sound weird. The local game shop
Yes.
had a glass case and really cheap Game Boy games. And when the one...
They're really expensive now and then, I bet.
They don't even have it. They got rid of it. And I'm like, I just want to buy Pokemon Blue or whatever, and I can't buy Pokemon Blue because there's nowhere to buy it in person, and online is way too much.
I've noticed that the eBay culture's changed because everything used to sell for really cheap. Old figures, games, toys, anything like that. Because I've been getting back into figure collecting as well.
It's now they've realised there's a market for it, right?
Like
They've
Power
started-
Ranger figures I used to collect as a kid, and I thought I'm going to get some of them, put them in a cabinet. It's like £50 for 10 figures. Now,
Yeah, they've hiked the price.
5 years
and then there's a
ago,
market.
I used to go on eBay and I could buy them for maybe £10 for like 5-10 figures. Now they're £50 for 10 figures. So it's crazy to think how the online culture's changed. Same with games, same with everything. Now everyone knows of eBay and know how it works, and everyone's
and knows there's a market. for
used
most
to buying on there.
anything.
Everything's skyrocketed now. You can't get anything cheap on eBay these days because everybody's on there selling high
I
prices.
realise that everything has a market now. Like previously, you'd sell your Game Boy games, you'd probably get £2.50 from or whatever. If you tried to sell them now, you'd be getting.
I wish I was
25
smart and I kept all them games and I started collecting them.
quid. Same. I had so many Nintendo
But
64 games.
back
I'm
then, it
pretty sure I
wasn't.
got-
It wasn't cool to have them games. Now it's cool to have them games. There's a different
It wouldn't
culture.
have even mattered if it's cool. Like, I wish I would have just kept them because I had Ocarina of Time, which goes for like 50 quid. I had what other Legends is that again? Majora's Mask
Yeah, you won't be able to get them
On
back
top
either. Just because you're
goes for
lucky.
30 quid, and like that's maybe like 2 years ago they went for that prices. Now they're still hiking the prices. Ocarina of Time
It's
goes for
not
like
good.
70, 80. It's so sad. I'm glad that they exist online.
Because if you're a
Even
fan
if
of the
it is-
series and you've been collecting them all, it's going to cost you a fortune to get that last game, and it is a shame, you know. But I'm in one respect, I am glad that older things are getting recognised for their value
As
rather than being
which is what
devalued.
it is.
Because you still own it, you know, even though we sold our games, we still own like a lot of antique stuff and things like that. Like, you've got your old records, and I've probably got some like classic, you know, DVDs that are hard to find or a bit older.
But
Just things like that.
it's going to be dead media soon. Everything's going to be.
That's the thing
online.
with media, though, isn't it? It comes and goes, so it dies, but it will make a resurgence.
Yeah, like records particularly. They
I
were
know that
dead. And then sounds come back.
digital media is definitely the future. I think DVDs in 15 years, 20 years won't be here. Or they will, but they won't be used as much because obviously, you know,
Even now they're not like it's
are polluting the
mostly-
planet. People save money, you know, and they don't have to use as much material to make them. Things like that.
Yeah,
But the
they're
thing is,
cutting
I
down-
like to own them though. They take a lot of space up, but I like owning them. So I don't think I'll ever get rid of them. But I think they're going to become, you know, they're going to be produced a lot less, which means they're going to be more expensive. But I think we're talking 20 years. I think even things like money. We won't have money.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just all use our cards. Everything's going to, in 20 years, everything's going to change, I think.
Might be less than that. Might be 10, depending on how.
The problem I've
the
got
amount
though, owning things digitally, is when you own something digitally, the people
You
who
don't
own
own
it, so the studio, can pull that from you at any time they want. They can change the contract and just go, well, we're pulling all this now, and then you don't own that copy anymore. I think after 2 years they can do that
Yeah.
by law, which is quite bad
Which is-
because obviously if
Yeah,
you own the
because I feel
DVD,
like if you pay for it, you should be able to own it.
exactly,
I understand like licensing and stuff. Like to show it, you need a specific license. Or
but
whatever,
they can delete it. And then there's like obviously space on your computers, space on your drives. So I don't know, maybe TVs will have like a.
With the way that technology is advancing, space is not becoming an issue anymore. Like in the past, you'd have to have like huge, clunky.
I know, but imagine me, George, with the
Now
amount of
we have,
DVDs I have. Imagine if all these were stored. How much I'd have to pay for the storage to store all those
I mean,
online.
honestly, you say that you could probably fit that on a 5 terabyte hard drive. Not gonna lie, there's a lot, but
This is only half of them,
compression
George.
and stuff.
It's like 4 shell. So I don't know. But I think TVs might have their own built-in storage, like huge amounts of storage on TVs in the future. I think they will have like 5 to 10 terabytes, and I think that's what you'll pay for.
I hope so, yeah,
storage.
because they've already come to a sort of stopping point on how much resolution you can actually tell with your eyes. Like it just beyond a certain point, you can't tell. So they're still marketing like 4K TVs. You can know it's 4K, but any higher than that, you really can't.
That's how they push the digital media even further. Like PlayStation's have already made that change. They've already started to make a huge change because they've gone with disc versus digital version. So now people have a choice, but that means that 50% of people who buy it, 50% of people who now buy the best-selling console of all time, don't have a disc player.
Yeah,
So then that's
which
going to
is
change
weird because I mean,
culture.
the way that everything's always worked in the past has the porn industry changed. Like that is how DVDs existed. Like from VHS to DVD to.
How about that's what you bring up to us? It's like a young impressionable audience.
No, I'm being. This is like well-known knowledge, at least for.
Well, you know, started off
my
with
head.
magazines, George. In fact,
exactly,
it started
but
off with those
magazines,
what
then
do you call it?
VHS.
Have you I watched this program called like Salvage Hunters or something before, and they found this little thing that you look through, and it's got these old
It
pictures.
spins around and it's like a pinhole to it. Yeah, I know. I am well versed.
But that's the same in movies, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
how
well,
they
it's every major change in media come from the porn industry
and the internet.
because especially the internet now, but in the past it was VHS was because the porn industry was using it. DVD was porn, Blu-ray porn, because like it was, for a time there was almost alternative media because there was micro discs and stuff like that. They were things that were the size of like the PlayStation.
Do you remember the
PSP.
yeah? You remember the
PSP
PSP?
size.
And they didn't take off, did they?
No, because the porn industry moved away. Honest, I'm not even kidding. It is all.
I love how that's where your mind goes.
No, that is the truth. I'm not even joking though. That is honestly the truth.
Well,
Right,
thanks for
tell
your
me this.
analysis, George. Do we have the same background accidentally? I think we do, you know.
I think so, yeah.
I think we picked the same background without even knowing. Let me just double check.
Yeah. I'll just stretch mine a little bit more.
That's a little side note.
What was your first game that you completed? Not 100%. I don't mean like trophies and that. I just mean finished.
Completed?
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. I guess it's probably Toy Story. But I don't know if I completed it. The thing is, games back then weren't that hard to complete, was they really?
No.
I know that, you know, one of them that I went all out on, I think that I missed a couple of things in it, was Power Rangers Dino Thunder. And also Simpsons Hit and Run. That game, I played the crap out of that. I had millions of dollars. I completed it. There used to be a trick in that though. I used to pretend to cry when I couldn't complete levels, and it used to let me off. But I don't know whether the game just does that automatically. But it used to let me skip levels. I was like, this game's great, man. It's like it knows. It knows. I'll tell you what, a good game I've seen the other day on eBay that I want to buy. There's two of them actually. King Kong PS2 and The Mummy Returns. And you played the one with Returns.
The problem that I've got with movie games is
Oh, those were two good movie games, though.
another great movie game was Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. That was a brilliant game. The movie was atrocious, but the game was incredible.
I don't mind the movie that much, to be honest. I thought the Assassin's Creed movie was bad at first, but when I started to play the game, I actually appreciated it.
Yeah, because you play as Desmond, right? Who is meant to be, and it's...
If you not play the game, you won't get it. I think that's the problem. It's weird, isn't it, that back then, like, games used to make movie games. Now, we have games transitioning into movies. So that's, again, another culture change.
In particular with, I know that they don't exist anymore, but, like...
Well, if you think about it, back then, like, movies didn't used to make as much. Like, games used to make huge amounts of money, and they still do, but now movies can actually rival that. Like, they can make just as much money. So it's like, now...
What was the Walking Dead game? What company made that? And it's gone out of my mind.
Telltale.
They sort of revolutionized.
But they were different because, I don't know, because they had their own, like, style, didn't they? You said you never liked.
Yeah. I liked one of them. I didn't like the Minecraft one and all that. Like, that was weird.
Because that's not your thing, though, is it? But to be honest, I'm not that into the Minecraft one. I like Telltale's Until Dawn.
So them as things on their own, right? A brilliant piece of media. I wouldn't call them games because it's just a point-and-click adventure, basically, right? It's a choose-your-own adventure. It's an update of them old books from the 60s where you'd flick through them, pick a page number, do other stuff.
No, I don't know, because Until Dawn there's a lot of twists and turns, and it's a really good story. But I think the Minecraft one's not as... It's not the same.
Because they're story-based games rather than sort of... They feel like graphic novels, do you know what I mean? They are just like, you just read it. You don't really take that much control of the characters. Like, I imagine they're great for relaxing too and just clicking through and stuff. But I've never
can't relax
until dawn, for that kind of stuff.
Can't relax Until Dawn. I really want you to play that one in the dark.
I don't get scared by jump scares or anything like that.
Right.
The only jump scare that got me recently was this guy throwing a snowball at a thing, and then he turned around and threw it directly at the camera. But it wasn't that what got me jump scared. It was the scene
yes, it was, George.
No, the guy. There was a separate video like stitched on the end where a guy's got like a jug of milk and he goes like that, and the milk goes over him and the dog.
That made you jump scare.
What is your favourite game of all time? I think not yet, Trayton. We'll get there.
Favourite game of all time? That's so difficult. That's a difficult question.
Oh God. You can have two.
All
because
time.
Mine's changed recently. Yeah.
It's very hard. I feel like Minecraft's got to be up there because it's a big part of my YouTube channel. Huge part. And then I think it's gonna have to be Simpsons Hit and Run. I think that might be the best, like, most fun game I've ever played. And I have to go back and play it. Now I got the PS2, and now I got all the software. In fact, I don't have I need to get something to record PS2, but I can record PS3 now. But I need to go back and play that. And I feel like you might have the same choice, George, based on your facial expression.
No, mine. I've recently changed mine. So before this year or last year or whatever, it was.
I would put Uncharted up there as well, by the way. Uncharted and Spider-Man. If I could have 4 choices, it would be those. I don't know what order I'd put them in, but...
So me and my family, we used to play GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64 together. We'd play it. We'd take turns on each level.
Haven't they remastered that on PS2?
Oh yeah, it's awful.
PS3.
So it's atrocious.
Because I've seen it. Is it like the one with the black case? He's got the gun like that.
Yeah. But on the Nintendo 64, it was such a great game, and it's got such a huge nostalgia factor for me that every time I play a game with my family, it's gonna be this game or The World Is Not Enough or.
I bought a lot of Bond games, by the way, George, so we can do a console race from Nintendo 64 and all the PS2.
Check your chat, by the way.
What's happening?
But recently it's switched over to Apex.
You gotta go because you're taking a shower. 29 minutes until 2021. Yeah, boy. Are you giving away a PS5? Unfortunately not. We're not that rich to be giving away PS5s. If we had like 1 million subs and I was making enough money, then hell yeah. But that's just there because we're doing gaming news and it's gaming, and that's the biggest news in gaming, is it really? So yeah, we can't give one away, unfortunately. I don't even have one myself.
So what I was saying was, recently it's become Apex because it's such a good game, like story-based game.
I knew you were going to say that, George, but I don't know. We've kind of gone off it, haven't we, a bit?
Yeah, only because my controllers are absolutely scuffed, so I can't even compete anymore, really. Like, in the past, we were okay. We did okay.
If they bring back
now...
King's Canyon, I'll consider playing it again.
You're too hooked on that one.
You know what, though? The thing is, like, it's COD as well. It's drawn me away from it, but I know that once I play COD for a bit more, I'm going to get bored. Because I always get bored of it.
Yeah.
Once I've done what I want to do in COD, then I'll go back to Apex, probably. Because I did that with the other COD, didn't I?
Yeah, it's such a fluid game though, compared to like a lot of modern ones. Like the control system is flawless. The movement is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have like a few more games and then one more question, a fact, and then some advice.
Fact of the day.
We can ignore the advice.
Advice.
Can you speak a bit louder? Who?
Advice.
We can ignore the advice. The advice I've written is atrocious, but whatever. Who do you want to speak louder?
As if you're gonna say that to me now after 2 hours in the 2 hours in the podcast. I want to know the advice, George. Was the advice for me or advice for the chat?
Oh no, it's just some advice in case anyone.
Advice from you.
Basically a Q&A,
Okay.
but I picked a thing and I don't know if it's gonna
Question
happen.
and advice.
Tell me this: what is one game that is out of character for you to enjoy? I've written mine down as Guitar Hero because I love that game, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't know me. If you only saw the stuff that I put online, you'd think I only run FPS.
I think probably Minecraft or Fall Guys, to be honest. I think if you knew me, if you didn't know I played Minecraft on my YouTube channel, you wouldn't know I was into it. But I don't know. There's a lot of different games, but I feel like games are so diverse now, and like everybody plays them. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're into those kind of games, does it really?
No, exactly. Like there's a game for everything now. I know that there are specifically code games which you.
Can I say George has a magnificent background? Well, thanks a lot, Mohammed. You see all these? You see all these props I've had to buy for this background.
Yeah, that wasn't there 20 minutes ago. He threw that up a minute ago.
I threw that up before the stream. You know how many hours this took me to get these in this order?
It's taken him 20 man-hours to put that together.
Trash. Oh my god. Don't laugh, George. Stop encouraging this bad behaviour in my chat, man.
Do you know how Donkey Kong got his name?
No.
So, Shigeru Miyamoto, who is the Nintendo game director, thought that donkey meant stupid in English. So that's why it's called Donkey Kong.
Yeah, but then he also turned him into...
Stupid donkey.
But he is also a donkey, though.
No, it's a gorilla.
Oh.
It's an ape. Because it's DK, right?
Right.
Okay, about our PlayStation. Alright, Mohammed, we're not giving you a PlayStation, calm down.
I'm joking.
Okay,
What about that PlayStation?
We have an advice.
I know what we could give away. A picture of a PlayStation. Those have been selling for a lot of money on eBay recently. I'll print you one off for having right. £500 worth of pictures.
So here's my advice for... You can jump in at any time for this, by the way. This is...
I thought it wasn't doing advice.
So I put how to get better at FPSs. And this is my advice for this.
You're like the worst FPS player I've ever known.
I looked online, okay? I googled it.
You're giving advice on it. Oh my god. Alright, George, carry on. Let's see what they're saying on Google.
Find a sensitivity that you enjoy to play at, because that is something I've had a lot of issue with. Is
Potentially go with the highest sensitivity you can handle, because
and work your way down from.
Not work your way up. Because
I'd
the higher
work at the top
sensitivity,
and
the better you're gonna play. That's a fact.
Not always, because you can sort of like correct it, right? Which is something I've been doing recently. Until I turned it down in COD, I had it on 4 when I only did it on 2.
You got it on 2? Oh my god, George. That's why you're a bad player.
No. On Call of Duty.
I got mine on like 17.
Yeah, but on Call of Duty, it doesn't need to be that high.
It does, because it makes you faster.
Yeah, but
there's definitely a noticeable difference.
You know the problem with my control, right?
Yeah.
If I had it that high, it would be doing its own thing. Like, I need such a huge dead zone for my controller.
What you need to do, George, get a new controller and put the sensitivity up to maybe 10 to 15. You might actually play decent.
I've also put aim for the chest, because headshots are hard. And that is my advice.
That's terrible advice.
Alright, jump in then.
Always aim for the head. Have the sensitivity as high as you can. And practice.
I disagree. Yeah, practice is the key one, by the way. Learn your maps and practice.
The key one you didn't mention.
No, I've got it written down.
You think just because you got a cat badge on, George, you can give this trash advice and get away with it?
That's the planet Earth with a smile.
It looked like a cat. Planet Earth with a smile. Did you make that?
Yeah, but
how does Planet Earth have red ears?
Terrible advice. Creighton, do you want your question answered? We're going to move on to the Q&A now, if you're happy with that, Leak.
Yep.
I've got to learn the maps as the last,
Alright, guys, get your questions in here, then.
Yeah, give us your questions straight in.
We've got yours dislikes, man. Where are these dislikes coming from? How can you dislike a stream like this? All this good advice George is giving.
Listen, I tried my hardest. I didn't know what I was doing. This is our first thing we've ever done together.
Professional podcast. This is going to be around on the internet forever.
Yeah, 2 hours, 20.
You know what we should do, George? We should do a podcast where we react to our old Ark Survival game.
If we did our Apex things, I think I was better at Apex 2 years ago, dude. Honestly.
So do I.
Do you know what I mean?
I was definitely better.
I looked back at some of my old clips the other day on Twitch.
What phone do you have? Probably trash because you can't buy a PS5 to give me. Oh, that's not very nice, dude. Well, I have an S10 Plus, and George has like a Nokia 420.
No, this is a Hawaii.
If we talk about phones, George had a Nokia for like 20 years, and you could throw it off a building and it wouldn't break. I seen recently on Facebook someone made a hammer out of a Nokia. You know, a Nokia you had.
The old ones, yeah. Well, the thing is, my Nokia wasn't that old. My Nokia was fairly new when.
It looked probably 75% of this. Sorry, George.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. What are you talking about? It looks like you're drinking wine, George.
I feel classy if it's in a wine glass, and not a drunkard, since it's.
Yeah, you look more classy than you are.
He looked 75% of his advice. Listen, alright, I know all the tactics.
I'll probably say his advice is probably 15% right, and like
learn the maps is one of the key points.
85% wrong. Learn the maps is a good piece of advice, but that's kind of, you know, you have to do that anyway.
Not always. Like, if you asked about that PlayStation thing, I'd kick you in the snot box, the snoot.
Should we do a PS1 giveaway?
No, they're very more expensive than PS5, aren't they? Have I got one in there?
Yeah.
No, I've only got my 64 in there.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, George. I'm going to get a cabinet for PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4, and then PS5 in.
This is my baby. I've had this since I was quite young. You can tell it's quite old because I've lost the top bit.
Yeah, my first was a PS1. So obviously you bought that second hand, then, George. Probably your dad's.
No, it was second hand, but got given it the same year as the PS1. Got them both the same year.
Huh.
Got the PS1 for my birthday, and I got 64.
The first time you actually had the latest console. the only time you had the new console on release. Was the
It was,
PS1?
but again, that was so expensive. Like,
Well, back then, yeah.
first came out
Oh, was
the
it
same
like
price as the
400?
PS5
I
is
don't
now,
know,
right?
actually. I don't think it was
With
400.
inflation.
It's probably like £99 or something. But back then, that probably was
PS1 was, I think, 300. It was expensive.
£300.
for
I
what it
remember
is.
people going to like Japan and stuff to get it much cheaper.
Yeah, but they were
Could
regional,
sell that
right?
today.
It's the problem with all consoles; they were regional.
Why am I so brilliant, so amazing, so gorgeous, so beautiful? You have to answer that yourself, Mohammed, I think. Have you
So
seen
your-
my
your
screen,
first
George? I can
PS3?
hover over it. I can touch your nose. I can pick your nose. With the cursor. Just amuse me. My first is PS3.
PS3 is the first console that I bought myself.
The first console I had brand new was PS2. I had a PS1, but I got given it. PS3.
Wait, no, PS4.
I had that brand new.
PS4 was the
PS4 I
first
had
one I
brand
bought
new.
myself.
PS5 is the only console that I've not been able to get on release, I believe. I think every other one, I don't know actually. I feel like I had them within the first 3 months. Why is everyone else having a blue name tag? Because they're moderators.
Yeah, everyone else in chat is a mod.
Everyone except for you, Mohammed. Well, maybe one day you might get it.
So, Trayton, to grow as a YouTuber, find your niche, my guy. It's really tricky, especially nowadays, right? To find a sort of carve a corner for yourself in the community. I know that there are so many Minecraft players and so many
Nice.
of those those same sort of games. Like,
Hard
I
to
know
be
that-
unique.
Yeah, you've got to be unique.
You gotta offer people something they can't get anywhere else. So what I did is
Yeah, I am.
I thought, like, you know, I wanted to do I started doing Minecraft and it was successful. So I thought, this is working. This is what I'm going to continue doing, and I enjoy playing the game. People can see that I enjoy the game. You need to find a game that you enjoy. And then I thought, well, I tried sub games because I thought no one ever lets anyone play on their map. And I thought, so what if I just say to people, you can come on the map? But then I had to obviously think about rules and stuff to stop people griefing, and it still happens. You've seen it happen. But
It's the hard part about that.
that's why people subscribe to me, is to play the Minecraft map predominantly. But advice for YouTube, I'd say, as George said, find your niche, have fun, don't worry about subscribers in the start. You know,
doesn't
George has
matter
just
if you get
restarted on
subscribers.
Facebook, and he has barely anyone on there, but he's still making videos. You have to be resilient. One of the hardest things is to break through that, because there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to stream and no one's going to watch, and it's going to be difficult.
And it's a real issue recently with an oversaturated market. So many people stream. So
that's
people
why a lot of
make YouTube
people don't make it, is because they give up and they're not patient. And then also, I heard this from another YouTuber, and it's so true. Like, say even
You have
my
to enjoy
channel,
what you do, first of
yeah,
all.
enjoy it. And then say with my channel, like, I'm still experimenting, because in the grand scheme of things, my channel is still a relatively small channel. So I like this video. This is a new idea that we've tried, and we've not done it before on the channel. I've done candy videos, I've done Doctor Who DVD reviews, like I've done everything because I can play around. So when you're starting off, make lots of different videos on everything, because you're still experimenting. You know,
You've got to cast a wide net, otherwise you won't catch anything.
and then you'll see what works. I get
you
zero
get zero
views every
views.
time I stream. There'll be
doesn't
times
matter.
when you do that. There's also tags and things that you have to learn how to use. So if you put Minecraft in as a game title, you will get a couple of views, but
It's a huge learning curve, right?
Yeah.
Learning how to tag and market yourself as a streamer. I'm not even that good at it anymore. I used to be okay.
if you're getting
It's
zero
changed
views, keep going, because you're creating a library of content. And in the future, that might change. You might think, oh, I've got better quality, I might delete these ones. But you're creating
Even if you don't,
things that
even
people
if
can
you
click.
don't delete them,
You
you
create,
can,
yeah.
you can unlist them.
You're creating
You
a
can keep
library of
them
things
there
that
as a
people can
library.
click, which will gain more views. And eventually, people will start coming. You know, there's a phrase, if you build it, they'll come. And
And
so,
there's also a phrase, Rome was not built in a day.
exactly. So if you keep streaming, you might get one
Yes,
view.
Mohammed, I am. Facebook.
I mean, like saying that, but you might get one view a stream. One view is still one view. Me, like, if I get 50 views, I'm happy with that. If I get 10
You've got to
views,
think of it this way, right?
you know.
You've got to think of, even if one person views, you're still
entertaining one person, and that's all that matters.
No
George
matter
is streaming
how
on
big you get,
Facebook, by the way. I'm having Ravy Graves 12.
no matter how big you get or how small you are, as long as you're entertaining people, that's all you should be doing it for. If you're streaming for the way of like making money or becoming famous, it's never gonna happen.
But also do it for yourself, because like with me, it's done quite a lot for me in terms of speaking and like just chatting
Mental health as
and
well.
feeling, having someone to talk to throughout lockdown. There's been no one that you can go around to see your friends. You can't do any of that stuff. So just sitting here chatting with George is like it's like being out with my friend and having a chat. So like do it for yourself as well, even if it's just to build your confidence, to get better at talking, anything like that. It's a good platform for that. So don't always think about it, I want to grow, I want to become that big YouTuber. It's not always about that.
And not only that, but even if people mock you for what you do, just keep doing it.
Oh, look at this, George. Rocky says he's been watching the whole time and would love to be a part of the podcast. Episode 2, Rocky, we want to have you on.
Rocky.
If you want to be part of this, mess of a podcast, that would be great. We'll have me, you, and George chatting, because me and George want to ask you about your life and talk about everything YouTube, everything gaming.
To us.
And this time I'll actually get some questions together.
We were born and raised in the UK, and
yeah, very different. I love talking to people about America, and I've already had those conversations with Rocky, but we've never done like a video format where people can access it.
Right, and it's good that you're not doing it just for like the clout of being a streamer, because if you do that, you're never going to get anywhere.
I think every time we do one of these videos as well, we'll ask for other people's advice on, what they think being a streamer means and how to grow, because everyone's going to have a different piece of advice. Definitely love to do it. We'd love to have you, Rocky. We'll definitely do it.
Us in particular, we've got different views between us both, right? I think it's always funnier to have really weird titled streams.
Remember, we've both had success on different platforms, so
we've had
different. I feel like I was one of the people who got you into streaming in the first place, George, because you was trying to stream in the beginning.
It was hard.
Because you was trying to stream in the beginning, you wasn't having that much luck because of the software and stuff, and you kind of gave up on it. And I said to you, like, when we was living together, I was like, look, George, let's play some Ark and let's stream it. You didn't have any idea of the YouTube channel then.
Years before that, I had the stuff to stream.
But I didn't really tell anyone about the YouTube channel. You're probably the only person, like the only friend that I was like, you know what, George, look at this. I actually YouTube my spare time. That's what I'm doing. And then you're like, oh, I like YouTube as well. I want to stream.
At that time, I've been trying to stream for probably 6 years. I only had third-party software and a really terrible computer. And at that time, you needed a HD PVR to stream. It was really money.
Yeah, but we did it, and you was like, "This is," you realised the fun of it, and was like, "I'm going to get back into it." And then you started your Twitch not long after.
Yeah, and it was with the rock show that I got for Christmas. It was that was the first thing that really like pushed it out there. It was playing the PS3, and I've got so many games for it, and I love that console. But as I've moved on and realised that you can stream directly from PlayStation 4, that's a huge.
That was what got me into it, because like I didn't have the software to do it in the beginning. Like when you stream on PS3 back in the day, you need to spend a lot of money to get started. Now it's just a PS4 and you're onto it.
At the time, which at the time was a huge amount of money to me.
George looking cute.
I mean,
time to take over the podcast. I can't take my glorious eyes off the excellent PS4. Yeah, it was a lot of money to begin with. The PS3 days, things were like £200 for some captures.
But now everything's sort of gone down.
And it wasn't accessible. You think about the old clunky version of OBS and stream softwares. It wasn't very good.
OBS has improved so much.
Exactly.
OBS is like...
I used it back in the day, and I wasn't very good at it. Even now, I've had to spend maybe £2,000 to get all my streams set up the way I want it. Because of the PC, my PC couldn't handle streaming when I started. So I couldn't stream on there. Because I've tried to make moves from PS3 and PS4 to PC many years ago, but I need the good PC, and they're very expensive.
I mean, even now, I'm not even happy with my setup now. Like, microphone, fantastic. Camera.
I didn't understand the technology, and I didn't understand how YouTube works, and it was very different back in the day. It was harder. Now it's much easier because we all have access. We all have phones. We all have PS4s, you know, whatever you can record on, just do it.
I mean, not even that, but even like software, like say the Stream Deck, there's versions for your phone. You can just run a Stream Deck off your phone, or you can use your phone as a camera now. You can. Your camera doesn't have to be fantastic. If it's not a fantastic camera, you don't have to have it.
You know what we should do, George? I just thought of this.
As long as the microphone.
I just thought about this. We haven't really talked about like how we met and stuff and our friendship over the years. That could be a whole podcast.
I can tell you straight away. I
stories from uni.
That was it.
Nearly fainting in the art gallery. I don't remember that.
One with the weird singing cricket things under the little metal cricket things.
Oh, right, the one where there was all them like circuits and stuff. Why?
I nearly collapsed. It was so hot.
Back in the day, that was like the first month for uni.
That was the first week. I nearly fainted on the first week in uni. We went to the.
Well, I didn't actually get to know you till like the last week of uni, and it's a very weird story because me and George just become friends on that day. And on the way home, I said to George, I said, you know what, I want to move to uni. And I said, you know what, let's just move in. Just move in together to the same accommodation, just like that. And then a month later, it was like living in the same place.
I mean, not even that. Like the issue was like when I first moved in, I was living in another university building. I was living at Aston, and you could only do that for the first year. You couldn't then go back to that same building, so it was a case of I have to move now.
Yeah, but it was funny because there's no one else that could have said, you know what, mate, I'll tell you what. Oh, I've only met you today. Let's move in together.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. I don't even know how to edit on PS4 my videos. You don't have to.
I honestly wouldn't even bother. Not on PS4.
Yeah, but it was a weird thing like that, and then we just become friends, and like you know, we got so many stories over the years, so many uni stories. I mean, we got stories where you know there was break-ins. You know, not my accommodation because I ended up moving out. A lot of different funny stories, you know, drunk outings.
Going out for McDonald's and falling asleep on a bench.
Yeah, going out for McDonald's. Well, I don't think that happened, George, but you know.
No,
you and George should react to my newest video. I'll tell you what, Rocky, I actually watched that earlier. It was quite funny. I did actually laugh my head off. Because you kept saying the same thing. You kept saying, like, 2020 has been a horrible year. And you kept saying it. And I just started laughing. I laughed my head off. Did you watch it, George?
No, I'll go watch it later.
And he said I couldn't put the sign up. He made this sign with a pen and paper. Stuck it up with gaffer tape. I couldn't put the sign up because 2020 was being an asshole. Remember all them trips to Tesco, George?
We lived
I'll just like knock on your door and just be like, George, come to Tesco. And you'd be like,
I'll be like, yes, because staying in university accommodation.
It is really good, Rocky.
Great. Like if you know the people living.
It's a
there.
good experience, and I only did it for 1 year,
idea.
but I'm glad I did it because it changed me a lot.
Yeah. Like,
I
mean, when you work, when you live where you work, right? It becomes this thing where going out to like Tesco's or whatever is a huge thing because it's
what
a
do
way
you call
to
it
get
work,
out
George,
of
in that first year? Well, it was actually. I did
When
work.
you
That's
make-
the hardest I worked,
when you
probably.
made stuff in your accommodation. Like I'll be sat at that desk for 12 hours a day sometimes, just doing whatever kind of artistic
There's
buggery.
just
there
so
was,
much
you
we can
know?
chat about, like games of dodgeball, you meeting your
Meeting,
partner at
like,
uni,
Andrew's thing,
Andrew. We could do a whole podcast on Andrew. Oh, that would be an interesting one. We could get Andrew on the podcast.
Dude, I nearly broke his finger.
He still goes on about that.
He's still
Andrew's
angry
one of
at me
them friends that, you know, he's like, everyone likes him because he's a bit daft at times.
Yeah.
He's funny. But, like, if you know him personally, he's one of them that if you borrow £1 off him, he'll still be talking about it 5 years later. He still mentions
I'm
it to
pretty
me,
sure he
George.
knows
It still
I'm
goes.
gonna quit.
It still goes to me. He's like, oh, bloody hell. You know, George, still owes me £1, man. Still not going to be that £1 back.
But like, he's happy to sponge off you for food or whatever. Like I'm not the kind of person that cares about money really.
Me
Like,
neither.
if someone needs food, I'll give them.
When it's
food.
like, you know, I've took, you know, like when you've been on money and been at uni, I've took you to the cinema and stuff and just been like, you know, don't worry about it. Andrew will be like, you owe me that £10, mate. You owe me £15. When am I going to get it?
It's really, he's one of those. I mean, I completely understand why. It's
It's the way it's been brought up. It's because it, you know, he used to live. His mum left and went to China and he was stuck there, and he had to fend for himself basically.
Yeah,
Rocky
which
says
is
me,
completely
you and
fine.
him should live together.
Yeah, I read. I just ignored it.
George won't do it because his girlfriend won't let him. But Abby would let us all move in together. I don't know why George is against it, because we would all save on rent. Like, I've been looking into properties, George. You think about it. If we get a mortgage, it's like you need 20 grand to start off with it. Yeah.
In my name.
If you pay rent, it's like 700 a month. If we split that in three, what's that, like 200 a month? That's so cheap. Why wouldn't you do that for a couple of years?
Because I haven't.
Even uni was like 500 a month to 1,000 a month. It was crazy.
Wasn't that, wasn't it? Uni was like 9,000.
No,
was it
it's like
9,000
5,000.
a
Do
year?
you know that our
Right.
course has gone up to, I think it's like 8,000 a year, and the masters is like 9,000.
But you can't get bursaries.
You
and
only get a
can't
master's loan for
mortgage.
10,000. It's now 9,000 to the course.
So right now, because of COVID,
I'm down for it,
restrictions,
Rocky.
you can't get
Anything.
you can't get bursaries. Student loans are like the lowest they've ever been. They don't even cover the course.
It's
on a
really
lot of
bad.
them.
We've not really talked about
big-
lockdown, have we? Or 2021.
No, that can happen tomorrow or whenever we next do our
Or we
next
can
week
talk
or-
about 2021. We can say Happy New Year, and let's just, what are your guys' plans for 2021? I think I'm
Yeah,
just going to
tell us
keep chugging along with YouTube. I think this has been quite successful today. We can make this a regular thing for me and George hosting.
Yeah, I mean the thing we're keeping doing YouTube is I want to keep doing Facebook and YouTube and whatever else, right? I always want to be creating something, and if creating game videos is the way to do it, that's fine. I also
For me, this
feel-
feels so natural to do this kind of video.
yeah, I'm getting shot at. There's cannon fire. Send help. But the problem with
You guys should
YouTube
all
houses.
move in with each other in a big YouTube house.
YouTube houses, have you not noticed how a lot of them are going under?
Hmm.
I know that offline TV are having a lot of issues.
The
I
thing
know
is,
that,
George, we've already lived together, so I can't see there being any squabbles about that.
but it's not that. It's when you split. Fucking hell. Sorry for swearing on YouTube. The room just shook because there was a firework above my house.
I forgot your house is made out of paper mache.
I live in the ceiling, so you know. So places like offline TV, they've had a lot of issues between people. It
It depends what kind of person you are, because a lot of those YouTube houses are full of people who have big personalities, whereas we're quite laid back. Me, you, and Rocky, we could definitely make a YouTube house work because of our characters.
It's not about personality.
I think we've only had one argument in like 5 years, and that was where you
I
threw
hit you with a sponge.
a sponge at me because of something stupid. That's the only time we've ever argued. So
But I'm happy to argue with anyone. Like I enjoy a good argument, but like there's a difference between arguing and being generally angry. And I've very rarely get actually angry. Like I'll joke about when I stream, when I play games.
I don't get angry either
Big
because
rage.
I don't waste my energy on that. I never have. Whereas my brother is a completely different person to me. Hype is going to break apart. Who does the hype house? Who is the hype? That's TikTok, isn't it?
And I know that there's a lot of issues with all these kind of. I know that I think Misfits had some issues as well and all this kind of stuff. Right?
I think with George though, because you're with Taff and that, you don't want to move in with people. But I think it would be a genuine good idea if you ask me. I think that's the smartest thing you can do.
It's the intimacy of living with your significant other in a house with other people.
But the thing is, Abby and Taff are very similar characters, and they don't talk much, and they wouldn't interact with each other that much anyway. We would just be in our own rooms, doing our own thing, I think, is what would happen. And then we'd just come together for YouTube stuff.
Yeah,
I would say that's how it would work. I'll tell you what happened the other day. My mum brought the whole family come round to visit for bring presents and stuff, and she came in the room where I was just cuddled up to Abby. It's so embarrassing, man. I said to her, don't come in, because we're just chilling. And she came in and woke us up.
Did you have a sock on the door? Because that's the rule, isn't it?
No, Joe,
Sock on
we
the
don't
door
put
is out.
socks on the door.
Oh,
My
are you
ears,
hearing
Joe.
the fireworks? I can't.
I think I just heard some as well. I think we just had some go off at the same time. It's only 10
You'll
o'clock.
have to manage. Yeah, well, it's because I think everyone's tier 4, right? mostly.
We've got 2 hours. I've seen a lot of police cars go past, checking what people are doing.
Everywhere's tier 4 now, so I think apart from like 4 or 5.
It's like we're living in North Korea or something. We can't do anything.
But it's good. Like, I'm happy about it because it means that we're not going to be in lockdown, hopefully, for much longer once it's like everyone's got the stuff. But, you know.
Well, we keep thinking that. We keep thinking the lockdown's going to end and they keep coming.
Yeah, but, you know, that's because people keep breaking lockdown measures and they're like, eat out to help out. Oh, no, second wave. And then they're like, oh, yeah, we're fine. Oh, no, third wave. Because the government's not been great.
What's 2020 been like for you, George?
Depressing, honestly. It's been.
The thing is, I don't think it's changed much for you because both of us, we don't really go out that much anyway.
No, but I would. You know what I mean? Like, if I was able to get a job, I would happily go out and get it. But
that's put you in an even worse position with jobs.
Because COVID, everywhere's closed. Because
a lot of people have lost their jobs, family members.
Nothing.
It's like Rocky said in his video earlier. He said it's like being in a movie. It is kind of like that. It's like something you could never imagine. If you said this 5 years ago, you'd be like, "F off, man. That's never happening."
Did you remember the first week of all of COVID? 2 people had it, and they wouldn't put the country into lockdown because
no one took it seriously.
No signs that it's going to go crazy and stuff like that. And
I
it's
should have listened because even the doctor in China, I think he got COVID and they silenced him in the first place, and that's how it actually spread. So it's like they underestimated it. And Trump in America cut the budget and things like that for like pandemics, and you know. It's
not even that. It's when they're cutting the budget for the NHS and they're like, oh, suddenly we need the NHS. Who could have known?
NHS parking's terrible. They need to get rid of that. They
anyone
increased the parking, didn't they?
Need the National Health Star, yeah, because they need to pay for it. They need to pay for the NHS with car parking. That's how bad it is.
What they should have done is that the NHS should write against that because they should have free parking. All the stuff they've been put through this year. You know.
There were so much, like, you could tell if anything would happen like this again, it would be exactly the same story. Like in the past, like there's not been a huge pandemic like this for a long time. I know there's bird flu and
every 100 years, I think.
Yeah, but there's bird flu, right? And that was pretty bad, but it wasn't like jumping from people to animals quite as badly as mad cow disease and stuff. It's tricky.
I think it's the worst year we will ever live through.
Yeah, and it's depressing as hell, really.
2021 is coming. Exactly. I'm hoping this year is going to be different, but I don't think it's going to get better just like that. I think we need a few years.
Half a year. It'll be half a year before we start.
I think saying happy 2021 right now is a bit early. I think we need to see what happens because I know we got vaccines and stuff, but it's not like we can just cure the whole country.
And it's not even that. It's they're really focusing on putting out the first batch of it.
New strains as well. They keep coming along, don't they?
Yeah, because it's been in people's system for so long that it's mutated and stuff.
But yeah, it's not been the best year. But hopefully 2021 is better, and we're going to be bringing more content on the channel.
The worst.
Yeah, hopefully this is the worst. I hope it doesn't get any worse. We're going to be bringing new content on the channel in 2021. We're going to continue with the streams. If you like this kind of concept, then let us know. Smash the like button.
Really relaxed.
It's just basically me and George having a chat, really. But we're going to try and get Rocky TV on. Potentially, well, we'll have to arrange it, but potentially next week or the week after. We'll try and do one like once a week or once a fortnight.
We've got to be mindful of time zones and stuff, but it should be fairly easy.
But also, I don't want to like over saturate it because I think I do a lot of Q&As.
Once every 2 weeks and stuff is.
But this is better than the Q&A. I think my Q&A because I'm speaking on my own, getting questions from people. A lot of people don't know what questions to ask. So it's like Catman Joe invited me on his podcast. I've not managed to do it yet because he's not got back to me on it. But I said I'd love to do it. And I think it's a great way to talk like naturally, like, you know. Because when you're talking to the screen, you're answering questions. It's a very different feeling. But yeah, if you guys enjoy it, let us know. But we're going to end it here, guys, because George is trying to get off. And we have been going for a long time. It's been an interesting video, and I think it'll be a nice one for you guys to rewatch if you missed any of it, because
it's been 3 hours of this.
We've been talking about a lot of different topics. It's supposed to just be gaming, but I did put in the title it was quite broad because, you know, obviously you get into different things. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing that we do. When we talk for a long while, we sort of go off on a tangent and we try and bring it back, but it doesn't always work.
I think that's better though, because I think it gets boring talking about one.
It feels more natural hopefully it feels natural after the while watching it, but
I think it will. But yeah, if you missed any of it, go back and watch it. Smash a like, subscribe, go and follow George on @RavyGrays12 and let us know what other type of podcast you want. Do you want a movies theme one? Do you want music?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want? I want to do like specific YouTuber ones, but we're gonna have to try and get hold of them. Maybe we could do some of George's friends from OFA, you know, part of this gaming group. Rocky.
Yeah, they're a lot of the people that I'm with are a lot of fighting games, so Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, mostly
Yeah, so it'll be different because they play different games to us.
They mostly what's the Dragon Ball Z one? There's a Dragon Ball game, huge Dragon Ball fighting game. And it's got a big following in Japan and
cool, but I think we used to play it with Merlin, didn't we?
No, that was we used to play Naruto. Naruto Ultimate Shippuden.
Street Fighter.
Like Street Fighter, but it's Dragon Ball Z characters and stuff. It's really good.
But yeah, we got some ideas, and we'll be bringing some more out soon. But I hope you all have a great night celebrating New Year or day if you've just come into New Year. And yeah, Happy New Year, everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and peace.